Welcome into the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 150. That's got a good ringtone to it.
That's a good one. We got a good guy for 150, baby. 150 is like fucking 100. Every half century is always good, right? Century, half century, you got to celebrate with a big dog.
Yeah, pretty much. Although, listen, no disrespect to anybody who comes on here. They're all big dogs.
You know what I'm saying? They are big dogs. Not gonna lie to you. I'm trying to think of one non-big dog that we had.
Hey, listen, I got a little bit of an issue today. Just want to let you know I'm operating at about 30%.
Was your head hurt now? Does your elbow contact your fucking? It goes to your head, down to your wrist, to your leg. Well, what the fuck?
I got a stomach ache, like real bad stomach ache today.
Andy, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was pissing out of my ass yesterday so fucking bad. It was horrifying. I didn't sleep at all the night before. I'm just saying. Then I woke up and on Kate's like, we got a tea time. And I'm like, yeah, suck it up. I got to suck it up, Andy. And I did. I took an Imodium and I was out there kicking ass and taking names. I get that. I was up all night. I ate seafood. I don't know.
Well, you know what I had?
What?
Ice cream.
Oh, really?
Ice cream. Yeah.
Are you lactose intolerant?
I don't know. I'm starting to think that I developed that in my age. I'm starting to get more and more lactose intolerant. See, I don't eat a lot. Well, I don't eat a lot. No, that's not it.
That is.
That is not it.
Your body is so used to eating like pebbles and fucking grass to where it doesn't. Once you kind of switch it up a little bit, it fucking shuts down. Like you're fragile, dude. You gotta watch your ways, man. You gotta chill a little bit. You're just a little fragile, dude, man. I feel bad for you.
Well,
it's all good.
It's not fragility. The reality is I don't eat a whole lot of dairy. So when I do, and I had the caramel and the pretzels too. The place was named Andy's Custard. I'll give them a shout out. I mean, it should just be like my own place. I should be able to go there.
They give you 10% off.
Well, I asked the guy at the window. I said, what do I get for having the same name? But listen, when I have the custard's different than the ice cream. Mm-hmm. But when your body's not used to putting thick, hardcore dairy into your system, dude, it fucks you up.
What's your body used to fucking doing, man? Like, what do you even eat then, dude? Like, can't even eat fucking dairy. You can't eat meat. You can't eat cheese. What the fuck are you eating? What are your kids eating? Like, I'm going to measure fucking Ty. I'm sick of this shit. Now I'm starting to worry because he's flying around like a sound bitch. I see the videos. He's stopping on his left skate. He's fucking doing his shit. He's toe dragging, but he ain't eating anything. I'm getting a little bit worried. Is he growing, Andy? I'm going to start measuring the kid.
90 percentile.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, his body's like, help! Oh God! Oh, I've been working my ass off. Give me something. Give me something to I could dissect in my stomach and give me some fuel. His body's craving something. Good God.
I told the story the other day, and my wife just doesn't understand it. But he won't go anywhere without that Taylor Hall toy, right? I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how when you go to Pure Hockey, that's where it was at. And they don't like to advertise, but we'll give them a shout out anyway. It's like a hockey store here in St. Louis, Pure Hockey. What up? We'll give them a shout out. They have these little toys by the cash register.
You said it last time. Yep, you said it last time.
And when you open it up,
you got Taylor Hall.
It's a surprise player inside, and it just so happened that Taylor Hall.
You know what it reminds me of? You ever hear those stories? Read those stories about the puppy dog that got lost, and it's away. It's fucking gone. It's it's 100 miles away, and it finds a way to get back to its family somehow, right? It just finds a way. The puppy finds a way. It's like
Lassie.
It's like Lassie. And I know it's you're not blood related to them, but they find a way to find their family. And I think Taylor Hall, or I think Ty right now is this is my daddy. I'm taking him everywhere with me. I have some sort of bond. And all of a sudden he's going to end up out east. And you're going to be like, where do you fucking go? He's he's in fucking Boston.
I'm going to put the picture up. We talked about it a little bit on the radio. I don't know if I talked about it here at all. Let the people know. So I may put a little picture up there on Instagram. People will start to see what this is all about, like his little Taylor Hall trophy. So my stomach, man, I'm just telling you, that ice cream, dude, it messes me up. Now, listen, okay, but you asked the other day, pizza, cherry. I can eat cheese. Mostly no problem. Now, when you go to the chain restaurants that don't use real cheese, it's processed cheese, my body doesn't handle the processed cheese. You go to a good pizza place that uses real cheese, whatever, then I'm all good.
I ain't ever going out to eat with your fucking ass, dude. You are the one guy, like the kind of person I don't want to eat with. Now, I'll party with you because that's a different story, which is very bizarre because I'll party with you and your wife until fucking 4 a.m. and you're fine. And I like that. And that's like a good check off. Like you're not embarrassing. You handle your shit good. Da, da, da. But as far as going to eat, you're the probably guy like, okay, where are we at here? Let's see, honey. I have where's the other menu? Where Andy, pick something out. I'm fucking starving. I don't know. There's cheese in that. I'm lactose intolerant. Yeah. Fuck that, dude. I ain't ever going out to eat with you. Done with it.
Hey, we all have friends like that who like, okay, just so you know, I have a severe allergy. If you put my food near any of this, like I will die sitting here at the table. I will die at the restaurant. You're going to have to call an ambulance. Do not kill me. And the waiter and the waitress is like, okay. Like, I can't promise you that we're not going to have a little like seafood or shellfish in there. But you just never know.
I hate annoying people like that, man. I honestly do. It's like, well, what is this? And then here's another. And God, there's some of the guys I play with that are like this, dude. Andy is so fucking embarrassing. Even if my food's not good, like I'm still at a point where I want to be nice to everybody and like, okay, hey, try this. I'm like, but I'll always be like, God, that's good. And even I'll always just be nice, unless they're fucking dicks. And then I'll be like, fuck you. And they're lazy. That's a different story. But I remember guys were so fucking anal when they order food, not because they're like you and they're like, me, my tummy. They're like, they'll take they'll order a steak and they'll go like this.
Oh yeah.
No. That's mess. Come over here. I'm like, oh geez, I'm Andy. I'm like, oh god.
So embarrassing.
I gotta go to the bathroom. Okay, take this way. No, it's not good enough. Oh god. I'm like, I don't want to hang out with you,
dude. People who are rude to waitresses and like servers in general. Now, let me just say this though, because like the shellfish allergy, like the peanut allergy, nut allergy, it's very serious. It's very serious. No, so you have to let the waitress know.
No doubt.
Because if the cook doesn't know, and nowadays, listen, every chef at a big time restaurant, at a shitty restaurant, it doesn't really matter. They're all used to it.
No doubt.
And they have separate grills, separate utensils, separate pots and pans. And they understand.
Where was this 40 years ago? Where was it 40 years ago, Andy? Why does this all of a sudden just happen now? Everybody's got fucking shit. And look, you're right. Sorry to cut you off.
You know why? They called it like scarlet fever. It's like Aunt Ida died. Well, how'd she die? Well, she got a fever. They didn't realize she just had some damn, peanuts or something the night before. Maybe. Like they didn't realize it.
And her eyes swelled up. Look, dude, that shit happens, man. But okay, that's fine. Let's take that category and put it aside. If your kid's got peanut allergies and your wife's got this, you can't do blah, 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 blah. We get that. But if you're just being like, I don't eat that because I read a thing that said this and I just signed it, and you're just fucking annoying. And you got to like order something and you're just annoying to the poor hostess, poor waitress who's like grinding it. Poor girl's like, I hope they tip me because everybody's cheap nowadays. COVID fucks everything up. And you're just a dick or a bitch to them. I can't take that shit, dude.
No, I know.
I can't take it.
I can't either.
Never.
It's the most embarrassing people to go out with, like when they're eating and they're like, take this back, please.
Take this back.
I asked for it to be medium well. This is black.
And people are going to be like, well, we paid for it. We paid, but there's a balance to it. There's a balance. Look, if it's shitty as fuck and you give me the wrong order, I'm going to be like, I think I ordered that. Sorry. It's cool. I love you. I'll still tip you out. It's all good. Just change it and give me a smile. That's what I want. But if you're just nitpicking, Andy, because you're fucking cheap, then fuck you. People act like they want to hang out with me, but all they want to do is hang out with Kate. And I like that. I want Kate to get attention. I'm a fucking attention hoa. I'm an attention hoa. And it's nice to have Kate get some attention too. I want that. Everybody stares at her. Don't get me wrong. But like, I don't mind that. Just don't be creepy, of course. But yeah, dude, that's an easy thing. But I'm just saying, man, and some restaurants are different too, Andy, where you'll have just terrible service. You're like, I'm not going back there again.
Yeah, but I don't have patience for bad service anymore. I got to admit, I don't have patience for bad service.
Neither do I. Give me my drink. In fact, I'm ordering 2 drinks because you're fucking slow. So I'm going to order 2 fucking drinks.
Well, Devin last night, I mean, he's too busy talking the whole time. Laurie's talking to Devin. Devin's talking to Laurie. Like, they both got to do their jobs. Okay? He was slow with the drinks, too. I'll tell you, he had an off night. He was slow with the drinks.
Andy.
Hey, do you know that they're having issues right now at restaurants across the world, man? They don't have any workers, dude. There's no workers.
Why would you work? Why would you want to work when you can
But
sit
they're
at home
not
and
getting.
make?
I don't think they're getting government assistance anymore.
Well, then what are you
Those
doing?
days are over.
Then what do you think they're doing? You don't think they're getting the government assistance? Yeah, they are.
I don't know.
Yes,
Hey,
they
listen,
are.
even like local chains, like not big, monster chains and whatever, but like local chains. Like a buddy of mine said yesterday, it was shut down. It was closed because they didn't have enough employees.
Sometimes they're shutting down on Mondays now. Some restaurants. You're absolutely right on this. Now, there's some restaurants like my Top Shooters over there. When you got kind of half naked girls cruising around, they make fucking money. They make their fucking tip. I remember being at night and you walk into the room and they're all sitting there counting fucking hundos and there's just cash everywhere. Like they fucking make money. They work their ass off. And Tim,
why
the
you
owner,
throwing money? Is it like a strip club? Like you're like throwing money in the air right now? Like what's going on at this place?
Because let me explain something to you, Andrew. The number one thing to have if you own a fucking bar is, what do you think it is? Now, of course, good food, But what's the one thing?
Well, I've talked to business owners about this before. You got to have attractive servers.
Thank you. You absolute. So you
and
your buddies.
Bad to say? Is that bad to say?
No, it's reality. It's fucking reality. You're a man, and you're like, where do you want to go? Let's go to the Swing and Dick Club. Let's go there. It's got pretty good food. Food might be a little bit better than the hot chick group. So that doesn't even matter. So you're gonna say, let's go to the place with a bunch of swinging dicks cruising around. No way, dude. You want to go to where there's good-looking girls, there's good service, there's a balance of everything. And these girls get tipped out like no other. They work their ass off and they make you feel good. These fucking old fucking construction workers walking and grinding it all goddamn day. They want to get flirt with. And they'll be like, here, take my fucking hard-earned money.
Dude, my daughter spent the weekend at a farm, a badass farm. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of acres. They've got everything on this farm.
You got 2 daughters.
Yeah. Chloe did.
Chloe?
I mean, they're riding like,
Aww.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're riding Rangers. I need to get a farm, dude. I'm looking at a lake house right now. A couple of them, actually. Andy, I want to be on the water, on the lake, or I may have had a change of thought over the weekend. So now I've been looking at farms, man. I'm looking for the little Stricky getaway. We're trying to find a spot where we can just go and chill.
Are you really?
Need my zone. I need my chill zone. Yes. I want a spot less than 90 minutes away. I want to be less than 90 minutes away because
tell you where to go.
I want to be able to get there. Yeah.
Are you dead serious on this?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do we get another big sponsor that I wasn't aware of? Do we?
No. I'm looking for investors. I'm looking for investors on this. Dude, okay.
Andy, for one, okay. If you have a big farm and you own 30 acres and it's all woods, you're gonna have to clear it all out. You're gonna have to get some toys. You're gonna have to spend money on side by sides. Are you a horse rider, Andy?
I don't need a side by side. What do I need a side by side?
You're gonna walk around it. You're just gonna walk around.
What is the side by side? Is that like a Ranger, like a 4-wheeler?
Yeah, no. 4-wheelers are 4-wheelers. A side by side's like they're called Polarises, man, and they go like 50 miles an hour.
Well, then it's a Polaris.
Polarises are Sea-Doos too. Polarises are a bunch of different things, but a Polaris, it's a cross between a jacked up golf cart, a 4-wheeler. Mixed together, it goes 50 miles an hour, and you could have a little trailer hitch on the back of that. You could put your dogs in the back. You could have a 5-seater. You could put doors on. You could put heat in there. You could put a badass sound system. And you can go forever, man. You can put your little extra gas cans in the back. You can go camping in the goddamn things. They are unbelievably fun and useful. You could drive them in the wintertime. You could drive them in the summertime. So you're going to have to get one. So, Andy, you buy 30 acres in the middle of the woods out in Mark Twain Lake without being by the lake. Say that area, whatever. You buy, what doesn't matter. And you're like, Cam, come out and hang out. Okay, Andy, what are we going to do? You don't have any guns. We know that. What do you have a side by? You want to walk around and look at plants? I don't fucking think so. You don't even have anything fucking bushed out. You can't even have a fucking fire or the whole damn thing's going to burn down. What the fuck are you going to do with 40 acres of woods, Andy? Tell me.
Well, I'm gonna have fires. I'll probably have my Traeger out there. I'll bring my Traeger for sure.
And plug it in where?
Well, what do you mean? We'll have outlets. And I just need a front porch. I need a front porch just to like chill and hang out. That's all I need is a front porch.
That means you're going to build a cabin or something.
And a view. And a view. What do you mean? I'm buying a house. It's a lake house. It already exists. It already exists.
I want the listeners to know, all you folk, am I crazy on what he's trying to tell me here? Because you just said that you want to buy a farm. So you want to have a house on it. I thought you just meant acre.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no,
so you're going to buy an old farmhouse?
Yeah, there's a farmhouse on the land. And you know, a lot of these different places that I've checked in on, they come with a lot of the stuff you're talking about. I mean, they come with some tractors
really? Okay,
and
so
they
you're gonna
come with
buy.
yeah, they come with. If you want the animals, you can have the animals. If you want the 4-wheelers, it comes with that. They've got the tree stands, the turkey stands. You know, for people who want to turkey hunt and all that. I ain't doing all that.
Million bucks on one of these.
We don't need the hunting stands. I don't need to be hunting.
I don't hunt either, man.
I don't want people on there hunting. I just want a spot. No. It's like a little getaway, man. That's just all I want. I can do a podcast from there. I can do anything from there. It's going to have Wi-Fi, all of that.
Okay, fine. Okay. I didn't know what you're saying. All right. So I always get ahead of myself with you because you're so all over the fucking. I think that you act like you think you want something, but you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So then you get me confused and act like an asshole. So you're trying to find a farm. Now that's funny that you say that because a lot of these guys, I swear to God, these farmers that own 1,000 acres, beautiful rolling hills in Hannibal, Missouri, and fucking middle of Missouri, which is so pretty, man. And they own all this acreage and they die. And the fucking kids are dipshits. Or they don't want to, pay that property tax, so they sell all these little farms off for fucking cheap, so they can get the fuck out of there and go do their shit.
Yes,
There's all kinds, and so if you want to find, but Andy, you find a farm with all this stuff, the maintenance in itself, Andy, you don't even know how to fix a leak. You don't know how to fix anything. So you're telling me you're going to buy an old farm, you don't know how to you don't have any toys, you don't know how to do shit, you don't even know how to make a fucking fire. What the fuck are you going to do out there with those precious kids? That are like, oh, Daddy, that's a snake. Well, let's look. What are you going to do? You didn't have a gun.
I don't know. Hey, we'll figure that out. But did you see, Cam? Dude, in India, I don't know what's going on in these zoos. I ever tell you that I got like a fear of going to the zoo? I don't like the zoo. I feel like my luck when I go to the zoo, the bear is going to get out. The tiger will get out. The lion will. In India, the Bengal tiger, it just like escaped. At the zoo, it got out, and there was like a mangled fence. It goes right through the hole, and everybody's like scurrying around the zoo, like, "Oh my God, the Bengal is out!" And, you know, they get everybody together, dude. And they got all this hurricane stuff going on right now too. Hurricane Ida, and we'll talk about that because Chief's coming up, and he's obviously right in the midst of
the remnants of it, Andy. It didn't go up the East Coast. It didn't go up the East Coast.
We'll talk about it. It didn't go up
the East Coast. It wasn't a Hurricane Sandy. It went through fucking Louisiana and it creeped its way and it missed St. Louis.
Well, it got hardly to hear a little bit. But you saw what took place up there in New Jersey, Philly, New York City, all that.
Rocked it, man. It sat over and just kind of spawned.
You saw the videos of the subway, just the water just pouring in. I don't think it was tornadoes.
Yeah, there was tornadoes in fucking Jersey. We talked about it with Chief, dude. 100%. You think there's a tornado and I didn't hear about it? Get on.
Okay. So anyway, see these animals, man, they're getting out. So even in Hurricane Ida, man, you've got zoos in some of these areas where the hurricane is. And the people are like trying to save the animals, making sure they're sheltered, they're safe, they're in a safe environment. But people have to stay there with them and like wait it out throughout the hurricanes. And there was like some false reports that like lions and tigers and like gorillas like were loose, dude. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine in your neighborhood, there's a news report that comes out that says, stay inside, like the gorilla is loose, the lion is loose. I'm like, oh my God. That's why I don't go to the zoo, man. Those animals are tortured. They don't want to be there. They need to be in the jungle. And you have them, cramped up in a little ass cage and they're violent. They're angry. So
bears
the Bengal gets out.
Bears aren't in the jungle.
The Bengal gets out in India. And
they have Bengal tigers in India anyway, Andy. So the fucker gets out. They can walk down the street and there's another Bengal tiger and a crocodile about to fuck you up. No, alligator. No, crocodile. Crocodiles are saltwater. Alligators are in Florida. They got crocodiles, which are bigger in India. They got those motherfuckers cruising around. And those tigers, they swim, dude. They swim. And they'll get you. Yeah.
Oh, my God. I didn't know
you'll have a tiger and a goddamn 20-foot croc swimming after your fucking boat in India. Like, I'm gonna fuck you up. We don't got that here. Dude, so if a tiger kind of goes loose here, we're like, oh, shit. Put it down.
So anyway, down in like New Orleans and other areas where this Hurricane Ida was, where like this news report comes out. Well, like the mayor and everybody had to shut it down. It was like inaccurate news. I guess the gorillas, the lions, the tigers, the bears, everybody was safe. Everybody was still inside the zoo. They didn't get out. India, different story, man. That's why I don't want to be at the zoo. I just feel like the day I go to the zoo is the day everybody gets out of their cage. It's just like free time. Yeah, well, I don't need to
poor
deal
with that. And poor kids. Like the kids want to see fucking animals, and you're like, I don't want to see because there might be an escape, which hasn't happened in 80 years unless there's some catastrophic event. But Ty's like, I want to see the gorilla. No, Ty. It might get through and get you, like Harambe or whatever the fucking thing's name is. The better likely is that Ty's gonna like creep through a little thing and be like, I'm gonna go play with this fucking thing because I'm a badass. And the girl's gonna take him by the ankle and drag him around the fucking thing like that one Berube did. Berube?
Herbibo? They killed
that motherfucker. Yeah.
Save Berube.
Berube. Remember there's bumper stickers? They're like, okay, settle down. They had to put the fucking thing down.
People were very upset about this,
as
they should. Man. But like, you don't. But no, my wife takes the kids to the zoo. Like they go to the zoo, they still get their little animal time. But I'm not going. I don't do it.
They go. No, you know that. You know, you would take up space, and if something did happen, you would push people out of the way, like George Costanza and Seinfeld when the fire came out, and he's pushing the kids out of the way to get away. That's what you would do. So we don't want you at the zoo anyway if shit goes down.
Dude, football season obviously is underway. I love football season. I love the fall. Fall starts September 22nd, the official day, September 22nd. And so everybody who like wants to pretend like it's fall now, you can't do it.
It's not yet. I know. I act like it is.
It's not. You just get a little too excited. But dude, all these fights in the stands at football games, dude, college games, NFL games, like what is going on? Like I'm not going near one of those games either.
I don't look. It's cool to see 100,000 people. No one's wearing masks. Everybody's free. They're all happy. Maybe there's a breakout. It's fine. Like they want to risk it. I get that. I don't even give a. Yeah, but I don't give a. I don't. I look at that and I'm like, oh, I look at like good freedom. Like you guys probably all vaccinated. You want to be vaccinated. If you don't, fuck whatever. Like it's on you. It's 95% rate you're gonna live. So just do your whatever. Live your fucking life. I don't live in fear anymore. And I like to see that. Now, for me, I don't like to be around a lot of people. And sit in a seat where there's fucking people everywhere and drunk guys spilling shit. I don't do that game, dude. Andy, we're princess now, man. Like we don't go places like that. I don't, unless we have a secure box where like we have free our drinks and shit. Like I'm dead serious. Like I don't give a fuck.
A luxury box.
I swear to God, I will never go anywhere, especially a college football game. I'll watch it. I didn't go to college. I'm not into Mizzou or anything. I'm just like there's a bunch of kids everywhere. I'm like, I'm not into it. Now I'll watch it. But these fucking fights, and here's what I was going to say. If your girl is picking fights with a dude at a game, remember the one girl, she's yelling at and she turned, and that dude
There's been a couple of those.
She's lucky she can. If your girl does that to you, you're a fucking joke. Get control of your broad. Tell her to calm down.
You can't say broad. You can't say broad. You can't say that.
I'm sorry. I love all y'all. I'm sorry about that. Control your lovely lady and be like, hey, sweetheart, stop yelling at that 6'5" Jack guy about who's better at things. And can you stop smacking him too, please? Because I'm finna get fucked up. If your girl's doing that, you're an idiot and she fucking owns your life. So get control of yourself, you simp.
Dude, I couldn't imagine having my wife be that much of a fan. Like she doesn't even know what's going on, dude. Like,
I don't want my girl.
No idea. Doesn't watch sports, and I think listen, for anybody out there who's got a wife that's into football and hockey, and so listen,
it's all good.
I think it's great, man. Good. I love it. I'm just saying,
as long as she's not a psycho.
My own personal experience, like she doesn't know what's going on. She would never ever get emotional at a game, and certainly wouldn't get into it with another fan. But I'm watching this dad. I think it was a North Carolina dad, like UNC. He's wearing like all blue. Dude, he storms the student section and just starts like teeing off on kids. And then he had like 50 kids on top of him. Cops are there.
But what did the kid do though, Andy? Okay, so what if you're there with your kids? Okay, let me explain something. So I saw that too, and it only had the clip of the guy looking back, freaking out, and beelining it, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's happened. Like
he threw something or something.
What'd that little fuck boy do? He throw a fucking? Did he pull the Malice in the Palace and throw a fucking water bottle and hit the dude's kid or something? Because Andy, what if you're sitting there with your kids, and some fuck boy is chirping Chloe when she gets a little bit older, chirping her, and all of a sudden he's like back, and then he throws something and hits Chloe or something. What the fuck are you gonna do? I would lose My mom.
I'm gonna call Cam.
Don't do that. I'm making phone calls. I know people. Dang it! I'm on TV for the Blues. I'll call Darren Pang right now. What would you do in that situation, man? Like, what if somebody's like chirping a little Chloe?
I don't know.
If I was
not
with
a
you,
fighter, Cam. I'm not a fighter.
I know it doesn't mean anything. It's like, how do you stick up for your kids at that? I wouldn't want to be in that situation, dude. The one place I'd go besides a hockey game, because we get taken care of, is I'd go to a UFC event and watch fucking Connor or that Patty the Batty motherfucker from Europe. It looks like a pumpkin pie haircutted freak who's knocking cats out. I'd go to a UFC and do my shit, and that's cool. But with college fuck kids, man, no, get me away from you fucks.
Yeah.
I
know.
Psycho.
I'm not a fighter,
you're our future.
But I will talk shit a little bit, and I will observe. Listen, I've been in like an environment with you, man, when like all like hell breaks loose and like there's fights.
How do I handle that?
You're like getting attacked by like an old lady. And you're like, get off of me. I'm trying to break it up, woman.
I was trying to control everything.
But you know what? Well, I just chill in those circumstances. I'm just like, okay.
I know you played it cool.
Let's just hang out over here, man.
The girls played it cool too. Kate was worried about me though. She was freaked out because I was getting.
I know.
But we didn't do anything. We were. We can't even get into it. It's not time yet. It's not time yet.
No. All right. Did you watch that documentary?
Fuck yeah.
Trashers?
Okay. Glad you brought that up. I want to get the kid on who's so cool. I thought he was going to be a dipshit. The fucking hold on. Let me finish real quick. The kid that's dressed like, what's up? AJ, what's up? I'm like, oh my, this fucking joke. But then you listen to him talk, and you watch him. You're like, this. I'm like, oh, okay. And the dad, you're like, oh, this gangster dude. I'm like, I've known like 15 of those kind of guys when I played in Jersey. I'm like, the loyal guy. I'm like, okay, he probably killed people, but okay, he's okay. Who do you think the one motherfucker I despised on there? Who do you think it was? How do you not know this? I'm surprised. The first thing that came out of his mouth on what this guy did.
What, the commissioner?
No, hell no. He was cool.
No, he was cool too, because I know him.
He's cool.
He is cool, and I've been talking to him the last couple of days.
We're going to get them all on, dude. Who do you think I'm talking about? And all you hockey guys know, I hated, that I fucking despise, who was actually a piece of fuck.
Oh, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Just tell me who it was.
The trainer. The bald trainer smoking a cigar, acting like, what a joke. You're a fucking equipment trainer. Then he's going over to the other locker rooms, taking their sticks, chirping this, putting different things. I'd kill the motherfucker. And he's acting like he's a fucking gangster. You're a fucking joke, you fucking loser. You fucking touch any of my shit. I'd fuck him up so bad.
You don't like the trainer. Like, I think I felt like he was, but like he loved the Galantes. He loved like the dad. And he even still said like how great. But I don't like what he was doing. Let me tell you this.
You're a joke.
Because listen, we'll get AJ on for sure, man. Yeah. And I was talking to somebody about this morning. It's like, I want to get AJ on, but I don't like getting him on when everybody else is getting him on at the same time. You know,
I get you.
You know, so we'll get him on in the next couple of weeks, though.
And get the other guy on, though. The big guy. The big dog. No, the big dog.
Oh, the Tony.
Dad.
What do you think he did with that trash truck, dude? Was he putting? What do you think?
He's smuggling drugs. He's probably smuggling drugs. He had organized gangsters bullying other trash companies on taking different routes and stuff like that. Andy, yes, you're a bully. He was a bully and a bad guy, and he probably killed motherfuckers. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, he would set trash trucks on fire.
No, Andy, exactly.
So The Sopranos, the TV show, it was based off a family that owned a trash hauling. So did a lot of the gangsters, the mobsters, do they own trash companies?
Absolutely, yes. And
that
many
was their
things.
deal?
Strip clubs, trash companies, laundromats, all kinds of shit.
And there's some real money in the trash business.
Well, especially if you bully your way and get every single route. Just my buddy has a company. Let me explain something. My buddy has a company. It's called Dapper Can. They're not a sponsor or whatever, but we love Jason. Dapper Can, and they go to
Diaper Can,
Dapper Can, Dick, and they go to subdivisions and they clean the trash cans in the summertime. And you hire him, and he comes. He got this cool thing. It looks like a trash can, but it's all this like 250-degree water, and it sprays. And it smells like lemon. And you know how your trash can, especially if you have dogs and shit, man. There's dog shit, and it's gross. And it stinks.
Gross.
So he does it. So imagine him gets me, Twister, and a bunch of motherfuckers, and he goes to all these other subdivisions that has Dapper Can and another cleaning system, and we bully their way, and they say no, and then we go to their family and light their house on fire, and
oh my god,
fucking beat the fuck out of their kids and say, get out of our thing. That's what he did.
Well, how do they know? How do they not know it's you? Like, I mean, how do you get away with that? Like, they're literally setting trash trucks on fire, dude. Like,
because he has minions do it that don't connect to him directly, where you'd have to have an FBI surge come in and be like, this is connected to that, but just like they did, man. They worked their ass off to get this dude. They're all smart. Those guys are all businessmen, dude.
Couple of things. First off, one of the greatest logos in the history of hockey, by the way. So that little trash can. I love that thing. Okay. Would you play for them back then?
Fact, no. Why did Ruppy go there? Why couldn't Ruppy play in American League? That was in 2004 when I was, fighting McGrattan 18 times a year, when every tough guy in the world was playing in American League at the time. Boogie to God, all of us. And Ruppy, who was still pretty young, I know he had a couple lovely goals in Game 7, but like, did he play that many NHL games?
So let me tell you. So, because I don't know how it worked. I worked in that league that year, dude, and I worked in that league at the time. So when the NHL canceled the season, the team that I worked for, the Missouri River Otters, like they signed Barrett Jackman, they signed Jamal Mayers, Ryan Johnson, Bryce Salvador. The Motor City team up in Detroit, Losey didn't play with us. The Motor City team signed like Chelios, Hatcher, McCarty.
Yeah.
You heard Hatch. If people didn't listen to his episode when he came on with us, man, go back and listen to that. He was awesome. But he talked about that a little bit. He talked about it a little bit. So like they were signing NHL guys. A lot of the NHL guys were coming in the UHL. Now, that particular team, I was talking to some players who I still talk to today who played in that league. And everybody knew what was going on there. Okay. I mean, that one dude with the one eye.
Beauregard, my buddies. Yeah, a lot of my buddies.
Dude, I watched him play for years. I mean, and I'm telling you this, automatic NHL player if he had two eyes. Like, you're not allowed to play in the NHL with one eye. If he had two eyes, he's in the NHL.
You're not allowed to?
No, you can't. You can't play in the NHL with one eye. You got to have two.
Well,
so any one-eyed hockey players out there who think, I'm just
they
telling
say
you.
No, that's a rule?
I'm pretty sure, he was not allowed to play in the NHL with just one eye.
What if he was a mutant, he had a Cyclops-looking dude, and it was one big eye or something?
Even in the league that you played in, like, at the very end of his career, when he was old, he went to England, dude, and scored, like, 45 goals a year, dude. Like he's legit. Okay,
so the U-Haul in the England league's the same kind of shit. The league I played in England's probably the same as the U-Haul, I'd say.
You don't think it's better?
I don't know. I don't want to – I don't know. I'd say it's probably actually. Let me say this: when I played, that was like the most fucking people busted their ass in that league. It wasn't no joke, dude.
Let me say this because even the UHL back then, like 2004, 2005,
crazy.
It was the second best professional league under the NHL, and it was American League. Then
the UHL,
the UHL. The Coast, Central, they're all kind of similar.
The Coast is better,
there was teams in the UHL that could beat teams in the Coast. There's teams in the Coast that could be. So, just depended on, which team we're talking about. But there were like good teams back then in the UA. It was considered AA hockey. That's
let me explain something. The best thing you want to do is play, like, I'd say the East Coast would probably get more attention from the American League, because once you get to the American League, you're just one step. So I say, I
look at it a couple different ways. Yeah, because especially if a team has an affiliate with an East Coast team. But let me give you like the Missouri River Otters for an example. I mean, you had Larry Plow, the GM of the St. Louis Blues. He was at games all the time. Bobby Plager, our boy, who is obviously a scouting with the Blues. He came to watch games all the time. There were guys. Cam all the time getting called up to the American League from the UHL even back then.
Oh, really?
Getting games in the American League. They come back down
to the UHL. Tough guys can go from
there. Yeah, but like I don't remember the league. I mean, like, listen, there were tough guys on every team just because that was hockey back then in 2004. Every team had tough guys, right? So, but it wasn't like a crazy league. I mean, what they were doing just wasn't going on, throughout the league. I mean, it was completely different. But there were players, Cam. I mean, I heard stories even the last couple of days, like, everybody's getting paid under the table there, right? Just like the documentary basically said. And that is illegal. You can't like have an unfair advantage because like you're paying guys under the table. There were players who were only playing home games. Like they wouldn't even go on the road and they're just getting monster cash. I could only imagine what that guy Beauregard, the one-eyed badass, like what he was getting paid. He only played 19 games. What they paid him to come on board, Brent Gretzky, some of these guys, just to play there for a handful. I know, just for a handful of games, dude. But I think honestly, they were genius in terms of how they marketed their team,
absolutely, how
they went about signing players, how they didn't care what the commissioner, what the league was saying, what everybody else was saying. I mean, players told me the opportunity, like to play a game in that building that season, it was like a once in a lifetime. Like no other team around the league, like our team here in St. Louis, we still got fans. I think we get like 5,000-6,000 fans on a good night, but we weren't getting like, sold out crowds.
Yeah,
like
but
what you saw there in Danbury, man, they had like 10,000 plus.
How they have 10,000 in that fucking building, dude? Every time they show like a big, like a view of the crowd, it looked packed, but I'm like, that rink is tiny. How do you put 10 G's in that mug? I didn't see that. Let me get to one thing too, by the way. Poor Josh Elzinga, who I played against. There's two of them. I think it was Josh and my dad is so funny. Like the first time I got stitches, man, when I was 12 years old, we're playing Team Illinois, I believe it was, where Josh Elzinga, the poor guy that got motherfucking murdered by that Mayfield guy. Good God, how stupid was that whole thing?
What do you mean? Like the guy? What you mean? The retaliation?
Guy that broke. Yes, they're Josh Elzinga. I remember playing against him.
It was like by Wingfield, whatever the guy's name was.
Wingfield. Oh, Jesus, fuck.
He looks scary, dude. Even now.
Could Wingfield, and all you tough guys that are listening, man, that you love all this shit, would that Wingfield cat come up in that fucking 2004 league that we played in the American League? Is he beating up Brian McGrattan? Is he beating up Colton Orr? Is he beating up fucking Brandon Sugden? Is he beating up Steve McIntyre? Is he beating up Eric Goddard? No fucking way.
What about the Nigerian Nightmare?
No, he would have been.
He played in the show.
He played a couple games and he got sent back down.
I know,
so,
but
like,
he
would
have stayed up there. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe the money was too good to play with the Trashers. Maybe the money was too good to not go up to the American League.
No, Andy.
But this guy, hey, go look at his hockey DB. And I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, Cam, because there is something to be said. Like if you can't be the king of the mountain if you're not going toe to toe with the other king of the mountain.
Who are you fighting? Like, where's Goddard?
Listen, at? I'll give that to you. But there were seasons where he had like 500 plus penalty minutes. Like, how do you get 500 plus penalty minutes?
You're an idiot. You see what he fucking did? You don't even like ask the guy. You just go jump him and crush him and fight him and yell at this. Then you go to the bench and you punch a guy on the bench. Then you punch the ref and you punch that. That just gets you 500 fucking minutes.
Would you like that type
Hell
of
no,
hockey?
Fuck no. I want to be the crazy one. I want to do the crazy shit. I don't want some fucking psycho that can't even do anything. And all of a sudden he cross-checks me from the back of the head and punches me from behind like a fucking psycho. Every time we played, even the craziest, toughest league ever in existence besides the 70s was 2004 American League. And everybody goddamn knows it. It was so goddamn tough. A mixture of every tough guy possible. Show, American League, Central is all the toughest of the tough were in that fucking league, man, at the time. And no one, like, it was crazy. You'd fight 3 times a night and there'd be big brawls, but no one's doing psycho shit because you're still like, I'm almost there. Like, you want to at times because they're all crazy, but you're like, I'm one step away to make the NHL. And if I go do nut shit, it's just not worth it, man. Like, you have to have a balance in your head of what psycho is and what like normal tough guy routine is.
So what do you think the FBI was after them for? Was it because of
money laundering? A million things.
It wasn't how they were operating the team, though, was it? That became
the commission didn't give a fuck about it. The commission was like, "This is great." Remember, he was so adamant about this is not going to. And all of a sudden, he met Anthony Jr. AJ, and he's like, actually, he is kind of knows how to fucking market this shit. Oh, okay. So the commission, he was laundering money through his different companies he owns. Through the trash, to his fucking this, to that, blah, blah, blah.
Well, they were paying guys. They were putting guys on the payroll.
I don't even think I don't think that's what it was. He was using his trash company money and floating it through that, and floating it through different things. And then all of a sudden, the FBI is like, it doesn't make any sense. Let's look at all these documents. That's why they raided the motherfucking house, took all those receipts and documents, and they just like, no, doesn't make sense. Nope. Look, dude, when they want you, Andy, they're going to get you. And you're going to do the time. You think you're going to fucking launder money like that and just keep fucking buying people off? All those fucking politicians, scumbag politicians, you fucking scum. That's why I'm telling you, these fucking politicians, man, if you're going to get big, you're fucking making out with fucking hardcore cats like that if you want to move up in the ranks, dude. So that's another thing is a politician's like, you don't think they knew? Get the fuck out of here. And so the FBI is like, no. We don't play this game, dude. You can only go so far with it. And it's like we live in a fake life. And he did fucking 8 years, dude. 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. And AJ was working at he didn't have any money then. What's cool about AJ is like he actually became a promoter. It was like, I have a gift. I know I have people. I'm actually very social. He walks into a place. He looks kind of dipshitty, but he's cool. And you know what? He fucking did his thing. He had to start from scratch again, and he built his way up because he ain't getting any money. That money's gone. When they fucking get you, they take everything away from you. And that motherfucker went 10 years in jail, and he came out, and who knows what he's got going on now. But yeah, dude, it's all fake. You're always gonna get it, dude. It's gonna
when you're part of the mob and you go away for 10 years. When you come back out, though, are you still part of the mob though? When you come back out,
yeah, you are. For the most part, not Francini. What's his name? Francini, who hung out with the owner of the Kings. Yes, our boy, Bruce McNall, badass dude, cool. Although Francini's he's a killer. I mean, he's a fucking killer. But some guys maybe. But dude, you're just in it, man. It's a fake life. Just like if you know guys that slang fucking coke or slang fucking whatever, painkillers or shit. Weed, you're not making that much money on fucking slanging weed unless you own a big fucking thing now where you could own a company that owns weed and you make money that way. But the coke dealers make fucking money. And it's just fake. It's fake. You can only do so much with cash, right? You can only do so much with cash. You can't buy, you have to have something. So it's all fake fucking money. And somebody's always going to get you. And you're drug dealing like that, dude. You're not living a good life. You think you are, and you have money, and maybe you'll get laid here and there because girls want to be around that shit. But you're always thinking in the back of your fucking head, is this me? Is this going to be it? Where are they at? Is this who am I check my phone? Get rid of my phone. Okay. Oh, am I calling? Who called me that night? Blah, blah, blah. It's just fake, and it ages you. Go bust your ass instead.
So the Trashers, all right, we'll get these guys on. We'll talk about. I need to find out what's going on.
Let's go. I want to talk to the big. I want to talk
to Winfield, dude. Oh, the big boy, the dad.
I know Winfield's gonna be like, whatever. I want to talk to the fucking dad.
The dad. I don't know what he can really. I don't know what he can say nowadays.
He can be cryptic. He can be cool and cryptic though. He's gonna. I think he already did his shit. Hopefully he's not.
Here's what I was going to ask you. All these players talking about all the money they got under the table. I mean, literally duffel bags full of cash. Yeah. And this was and let me just say this: in that league, they're not the only team paying players under the table. I want to get that straight.
I'd say that. I mean, you're right on that.
Every team. Now, it may not be a lot of crazies and whatever, but every team has a good player that they pick and choose where they're going to play, and whoever pays them the most is where they go. And whoever's paying under the table in some cases is probably where they end up. So they're not alone in that. But do you think the IRS is watching this documentary and they're like, okay, we got to find out how much money these cats were getting, or no?
No, I think that already happened, dude. The guys didn't get in trouble. They already caught. It's all part of it. The same thing. That money, that the $20,000 that they gave Winfield was part of the $100,000.
No, I bet you they were getting paid $100,000 or something.
Fuck,
some of those guys.
Maybe 50. Maybe. Okay, fine.
Well, maybe I'm not talking about at once. I'm not talking about $100,000 in the duffel bag.
The IRS is not looking at that and be like, oh, what are you doing with that? They're probably looking at where you're implementing the other $1 million that you put into that other place and the other place, and the little $20,000 you give to these guys, $50,000, whatever. That's all part of it, but that's not what. So that he already did his time for that shit. That's why the documentary is that you can't charge them again. What is that called? Double jet, whatever the fuck. I know. I'm not a lawyer, guys. And you know what? I'm going to get comments about people correct. I don't know. I might have, but we're just having a conversation. And I just think that you guys could always correct us. And I love that. But I just think that they're not going to, that's already over with. Okay.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying to get these guys to come out and play in Danbury, Connecticut. I'm not suggesting they're getting $100,000 in the duffel bag at once, but I bet you some guys over the course of the season make close to $100,000. Dude.
Okay, so when Wingfield got that money, I bet
which
you got
is
20.
which
I bet you
for
got
people
20
who
grand.
don't know at that in that league, you're
making
not,
15 grand.
Maybe you're making the average player is making 250 to 500 a week. You know.
Okay, yeah. 250. I was gonna say 250, 500 a week. I was like, where are you going to? Yeah. And so if you get 20 grand and that's a big deal. It doesn't have to be 100 grand. It's 20 grand. I don't think it was 100 grand. I think these guys got 20 grand, maybe 10 grand here. And a double bag when you're not expecting to make that on top of what that little 250, and you get free stuff here and there because they went out.
It's like a signing bonus.
It's like a signing bonus.
But again, like I said, I don't think so. Yeah, they're not getting 50, 100 grand in the duffel bag. But I think over the course of the season, and they did get bonuses and stuff like that. I bet you, like some guys were pulling in close to 100.
Well, they were paying him in 15 different companies. Trash company paid him with a check. A different laundromat paid him with. He's like Whitfield or Wingfield's like, I didn't know I worked for so many different companies, man. Because the guy's just laundering money through all his different little enterprises, man. Yeah. It just all crashes down on you, dude.
Yeah, we got to talk to Rupper about that. Wonder how much Rupper got.
I think Rupper was just like, get me the motherfucker out of here as fast as possible. He's like, I don't know. He's just like, yeah, I didn't expect anything. I think he played like whatever and then bounced. But I want to get Rupper ain't gonna tell us anything we know. I want the dude. The dad. I want the daddy. I want fucking Tony. I want Tony Soprano on. And I want him to be cool. And he knows, dude, he's a Jersey fucking Devils guy. He knows who we are. Like, let me talk to the guy. Like, sit down, let's go.
I got to look at the roster. I'm going to go back and look at it because, the Richard Brosal, who was he was the commissioner of the league, who was
I liked him.
Prominently featured throughout the course of this documentary.
He was great.
He lived in Lake St. Louis. That's where the headquarters for the UHL were. Where they were in. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we'll get these guys on, man. I'm looking forward to learning more and digging deep. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of interviews, Cam, though, and it's very interesting, but we don't want to ask the fluff. How would you do a fluff interview with AJ or the dad?
Hi, AJ. So what kind of clothes were you wearing then? Would you go to Sean John and get those clothes? Yeah, I went to the what's your favorite hair gel that you use? What kind of earrings are those that you had on? That's fluffy shit. I'm like, okay, AJ. Hey. What was your fucking daddy giving you? Da 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 da. Like, what? So tell me how when you come home at night and your dad's like coming, like, what did you see weird? Like, I don't know. I got fucking digging into him like no other. I don't know what he could ask or he could say, but I got a lot of questions for him. That's for sure.
He was gangster, dude.
He wasn't. He kind of wasn't. Like
he just FUBU. He wore like FUBU.
Oh, remember FUBU. The FUBU? Sean John FUBU. Baggy fuck, long ass fucking polo that goes down your knees, white shoes, big old fucking necklace. It's like everything that I wasn't in that at that stage. I was like Affliction maybe at that stage, and like I don't know, Hugo Boss. I wanted to fucking look kind of athletic. He looked like he's fucking.
He was
rapping.
Gangster, dude. He was fucking gangster. That's
but then you
how I was back
like,
in the day. Cam, I was very gangster. Very gangster, actually.
It's cool. I'm sure all the real gangsters are looking at you like, yeah, man, fuck us. Try to fucking get him in here, man. He'd be a big fucking asset to us.
Okay. So, no, but 17 years old for him to like, obviously his dad ran it. I mean, let's be honest. His dad ran it. But, he was given that responsibility. I wonder what he was getting paid. What was his salary for being the president?
What's your salary? Like, where was your house?
AJ.
What did you get? AJ, like, he'd give you all kinds of you'd have John Cena, Triple H, China, all the wrestlers come to your birthday party. Like that cost 20 grand a piece for those guys, maybe easy. You're paying me $3 grand to go to a birthday party. You're paying them 25 grand, 30 grand.
The Trashers. What a great name. Great logo.
Pretty cool.
The Trashers.
I thought it was the Thrashers always. And I'm like, oh, now it's the Trashers. Okay,
I kept thinking it was the Thrashers too. I didn't know what was going on. What? I didn't hear about all this shit going down with the Thrashers.
I'm like, yeah. Well, anyway,
but the Trashers. Anyway, we'll get more on this. All right. Speaking about a real heavy, we got Craig Berube on this edition of the Cam and Strick podcast. Man, looking forward to bringing this to the listeners because they're gonna enjoy it. Like he's got a great history, great background, obviously super successful. I love the fact that as a tough guy, I think he finished with like he retired or maybe sits right now. I know he's top 10 all time in penalty minutes. He had crazy number of fights, Cam, over the course of his career, and he fought a lot of tough guys. Obviously, I mean, he was in a badass era when he played. But the fact that he's been able to remove like this perception that he was just like some type of meathead who couldn't think the game, doesn't know the game, can't coach players, can't develop young players, can't handle himself schematically when it comes to like breaking down the game. I love the fact that he's been able to like break that stereotype, and maybe people will realize that a lot of those guys served a purposeful role as a player. They were legit hockey players. This guy played over 1,000 games in the NHL. There's nothing he didn't see over the course of his career.
There it is. And like all these people, let me just say something. You don't play 1,000 games, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And let me say another thing. When you're not that skilled and you're not that fast, the game's a lot harder for you. So what does that mean? That means you got to do extra shit and you got to think extra hard to get that fucking puck out of the zone because you ain't as skilled. So you got to think the game a lot more. When you're not Kovalchuk or Kovalev that can just take the puck back in the zone and flip around a couple guys and do this. When you don't have that skill, you have to think different ways to get these little pucks out of the zone and keep it alive and do little things like that. That guy played in the league so goddamn long. He could have probably played a little bit longer. They begged him to come back at the end of his career. Now, let me say something as far as the toughness goes. There's different categories of tough guys. Every hockey player is tough. Even the pussies are pretty tough, okay? The softies, there's not many softies anyway. Even if the game's softer, like you got to be goddamn pretty tough and kamikaze-like to go in the corners and do your shit. And there's different variables of toughness, man. And some of these guys that just did it to do it were tough. Then you got another category of guys that were just a little bit bigger that could do it. Maybe like a type that, like a Chris Dingman, who we love, who probably didn't like to do it. Losey didn't like to fight, but he did it. That's a different category. Losey was big and scary. But then you got the motherfuckers. The big, scary, mean motherfuckers. And Craig Berube's in that category. And Chief's like, I don't like to. Nah. He's one of the toughest motherfuckers to walk.
I never heard him say he didn't like
I've heard him say he didn't like to do it, but
I've heard him say that like
specifically he said it in interviews that he never liked to do it, but he had to do it anyway. And I don't believe it.
I've heard him talk about that he has no issue with there being no fighting in hockey. He likes today's game more than his game. Awesome. And you know what? He also says, which I find like very interesting, and he gives an explanation. We don't have to get too deep into it, but he says that like today's game is more physical than it was back when he played. And the way he like explains it, and then you go back and watch, and you're like, yeah, you're probably right. I mean, guys are so fast, they're on you right away. Well, there's just no time and space is what he's basically saying.
Nah, I don't believe that either. And I love Chief because even back in the 90s, dude.
What do you mean? There's no time and space.
No, there's not at all. I didn't say that. Listen to me. You're talking about physicality, homie. You think there's more sticks, grabs, elbows, punches, hits, physicality aspect in today's game? No fucking way. Go to the 90s. Go to the 90s and watch all the stick work. That's physicality. That's still like you're getting hit. You're getting scraped. Not even close. Yeah. Not even close.
No,
so I don't know what he's talking about on that.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, yeah, you don't have a whole lot of that. The game has completely changed. I mean, these guys can stand in front of the net and just like pick cherries and read a book through the lawn chair if they want. Nobody's even touching them.
Andy, and I wanted to finish up when I was saying this as far as how tough that he really is. And he's kind of chilled now. If you rank the toughest people in the world, you look at hardcore fucking Marines, bad boys, special forces, fucking Navy SEALs, Navy fucking SEALs. Like, I'll kill you in Bobby Gassoff Jr. will fucking kill you 50 times over, 50 different ways he wanted to. These badass guys, special force, shit kicking mother. They're the top of the list. Then you got the MMA cats, man. That killer in you that you have to eat punches and fucking boom. Those guys are warriors. Their ancestors were fucking storming beaches and fucking pillaging and shit like that. And then the next kind of thing of those 90s, early 2000s, baddest fucking Saskatchewan fucking Stevie McIntyre, Derek Boogaard, Craig Berube, Bobby Probert, Tony Twist. Oh, those guys are the next tier, man. Those guys could have been. Now, I don't like to compare military. They're in a different story because, it's different. You're getting shot at.
It's a different type of toughness, man. Different mentality, different environment.
Same guys could do everything, in my opinion. Because you have that. I'm going to do anything for the team. I'll get punched. But the military guys, then the UFC, and then the bad boys from the early 2000s, 90s.
No, similar in terms of how their brains are wired and whatever.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I get that.
He's a top tier, Craig Berube. Not gonna lie to you.
Oh, yeah. And he's a Stanley Cup champion, obviously. I mean, a great coach, man. I mean, players like him. But he's tough, man. He may be the most intense coach that I've ever witnessed in my time covering the NHL. Like, he's super intense just in terms of his practices, Cam, on the bench. Love it. He just doesn't allow you to take a day off, a drill off, a rep off. Like, he'll be in your face, man. He's very vocal.
What if like I go, what pisses you off, Chief? He goes, soft fucking plays.
Yeah, I don't like soft.
I go, what do you mean? He's like, and I knew exactly what he's talking about. On the wall. Like, I'm not going to go to the D-man. I'm going to stay in this flamingo on a fucking shot.
Not going to block a shot. Not willing to block a shot.
Because it's all natural reaction when you do that. You're like, for me. I was so worried about getting. I mean, that kind of shit. Like, he just
not willing to take a hit to make a play.
Take that hit off the wall. Take that fucking hit off the wall and get that puck out of the zone.
And you know what else? Not willing to drive. Not willing to drive the net.
There it is.
Not willing to get to the hard areas. You hear him talk about it all the time. All you gotta do is listen to his post-game news conferences, and he tells you.
He tells you everything you need to know.
What he didn't like. He
tells you everything you want to know.
And it's funny because, like, when you're watching a game and you say, "Okay, that's not good enough," and then he confirms it just a few minutes later. So. And he's open to it. You can
pump him up on that. I go, I love your post game. Like, you're not. There's other coaches. We know what you're talking. Even in the NHL, there's some coaches. I don't like what the refs did on that. And then like, okay, or Chiefs like, it's all good. We didn't do that.
Yeah, but he goes after the refs.
He'll go after a little bit
all the time, man.
He didn't in the playoffs. He didn't in the playoffs when he could have with San Jose Sharks. With the hand pass, with a couple bullshit penalties. He didn't do it. And Cassidy, and even the series after that with Bruce Cassidy was kind of complaining about, once your coach complains like that, when you're a player, it just kind of makes you like, I don't know, it just makes you feel like, the captains know why you.
Yeah, well, the Blues let the league know behind the scenes too, like, what the right call should have been. Oh yeah,
behind the scenes,
but you don't need. But it's not just that. You don't need to not only make it public, and have that be the main issue and topic that everybody's talking about. But at the same time, you don't have to. You shouldn't get it into your players' minds to make that as an excuse as to why you lost the game. So he had every player on the same page in terms of what they were saying, how they were communicating, what had taken place to the press and to the media after the game. I mean, listen, it worked out. There's no question about it, because I've seen a lot of people get emotional, Cam. Coaches with Doug Armstrong, Tom Stillman.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then Craig Berube, man, they just have that ability just to kind of like, we're not going to create a lot of drama and unnecessary noise publicly. And whatever issue or incident that upset them, they move on rather quickly. They let the league know, or the referees know they do whatever they have to do behind closed doors. They just don't turn it into a spectacle, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I know. The players don't want to see a spectacle. Now, it's okay to be like, hey, the refs aren't great tonight. But you know what? We didn't do this, and that. And that's why we lost. Because some nights the refs aren't going to be good. And you got to overcome that.
And I think the Blues knew they knew they were better than San Jose. They're like, hey, we just got to move on. Let's just go win. We're
going to fucking, we're beating them up.
Yeah. So people are going to love this interview. So let's get to Craig Berube, man. We've been wanting to have him on. Listen, we would have, love to have him on in person. Maybe that was an option. But once you get into the season, once he comes back into town, man, this guy's busy. He's got a lot of other stuff to go on. We'll do that at a later date too, man. We'll have him in person for sure. So let's get to the live reads. Cam, big news here. We got a couple of new sponsors we're bringing on board. We'll talk about that here in just a couple of minutes as we welcome some new people And I want all our listeners to welcome them too, man. Send them a little Instagram message, like their posts, and just say hello. Say welcome to the team.
We'll say, hey, thank you for keeping this thing going. Hey, thank you, sponsors. No. For keeping this thing going, because the only reason why we're doing this is because the sponsors are taking care of us to be able to fucking keep this damn thing going. So thank them.
Yeah, well, as always, the Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by CarShield. And carshield.com, baby. 800-857-2481. 800-857-2481. Call them today. Hey, structure that plan any way you want it. You want a long-term plan, you can do that. Short-term plan, you can do that as well. Carshield.com. Get that protection, baby. You never know when shit's going to go down. You're looking at paying thousands and thousands of dollars. But guess what? You won't when you have CarShield. So get that protection. Use that promo code CAM. You're going to save 10%. I know it's embarrassing. You got to say CAM, but you got to do it. You got to do it because it's going to save you money. We want you to save
my
money.
name, baby.
CarShield. Again, your computer goes out, the alternator, the engine, the starter, whatever it is. You're looking at a big-time cost, man. But when you have CarShield, you pay your low monthly fee, and then everything's taken care of for you. You pick your mechanic. They hook you up with the rental car and all that, Cam.
Oh, easy peasy. I did it firsthand. Was very embarrassing.
We've heard about it.
During the starting, took it up the street. They fixed it in 2 seconds. Awesome. I got my groove back. Stella got her groove back after it was a little bit of embarrassing because I was like, well, bye, everybody. I love you. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. They hooked it up. Thank you, CarShield. We love you.
Hey, I saw your Instagram story the other day. Were you having like a satanic ritual?
Yes.
What is going on with your candles, dude, in the dark? You don't need to be showing people that.
Because we turn the lights out at night. The moon's is shining. The stars are out. I see UFOs cruising around because they're addicted to fucking power plants and shit. So very bizarre. But I see UFOs. Shit goes down. I turn the lights off. The puppies are sleeping. Kate and I bring the little golfy thing upstairs. She puts a sexy outfit on. We're getting fucked up. And I fucking sink fucking putts. And then we play a little game together. Like, that's what you do to be romantic.
What kind of game? What kind of game?
I don't know. Like I don't know. I had sex with her that night because what do you want me to say? I mean,
with all the candles, with all the candles. You're surprised you didn't have a fire. What are you guys drinking? Like vampire's blood over there? Like, what are you doing?
I don't know. I drank a lot that night. I don't know what the fuck it was.
Scary situation. Very scary scene.
Not to me.
She didn't look scary. They're all little tiny candles, like little tea candles too.
Why don't you do something cool? Why don't you do something cool? You're fucking.
Do they have a scent?
The kids are fucking crying at night with you. The dog's shitting all over the fucking house, and you're fucking bullshitting me for lighting candles with my wife.
Hey,
who's dressed like a fucking.
Are those? Well, your wife wasn't in the. She wasn't in the story. I mean, I didn't see her
because all the creeps would be creeping her out. I'm the only one that could be in the story when it comes to that. I had a sexy outfit on too.
Were those scented candles? What were those?
Yeah, it smelled good. I mean, they're expensive. And candles are expensive, man.
Well, you had like 50 of them in the dark. I don't know what was going on. It was like a.
What do you think was going on? I was putting shit. I was drinking. I was getting my mind right, and then Kate had something sexy, and we're playing a drinking game. I was playing a drinking game with my wife, and then I made love to her.
He's goth.
I do like gothy shit. I want to fucking. You know what I'm gonna do for Halloween, homeboy? We bought a fucking dragon. We bought a dragon for our front yard, and we're gonna put it in our front yard, and then we're gonna put 2 little chairs with a king skeleton and a queen skeleton, like it's a castle, and a dragon's taking care of it. In the backyard, I got 2 12-foot skeletons looking over the fucking fairway with little skeletons coming from the goddamn graveyard. Digging up from the graveyard, walking to the big dog Skeletors that are protecting the back of my house. That's called shit kicker, baby. That's what that is. What are you going to have?
Nobody's coming to your house. Nobody's coming to your house.
No, because it's too scary. Way too scary for the children.
Halloween, I don't really do. I mean, listen, I love Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. I get the bonfire going. We got the apple cider for the kids, whatever, the hot cider. We've got the cocktails.
Can they eat cider? Can they drink cider?
Well, we're handing out the candy. My stomach is messed up from that custard that I had last night.
Is it
I can't be having that.
You know what you remind me of? You know what your poor kids remind me of? Have you seen, remember back in the day in the 90s, the movie Hook?
No, I never saw Hook.
Okay, this movie Hook is called Peter Pan Hook.
Is it rated R?
Yeah, it's like is a children. I don't know why I watch it as a children's movie. I was never a child.
Called Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. It's called Hook. I think it's called Hook.
Captain Hook.
Robin Williams was in it. And then they're at he was like in this like dream world where they had all this nice food, but it was like fake. But you acted like you ate it. And they're like having food fights, like, yummy. I'm eating things. Look, I'm eating junk. Your poor kids have to have like a Peter Pan moment. They have to fake and think that they're eating something, but really they're eating grass and air. And I just feel bad for them.
Do they eat? I don't keep them from eating. Oh, yeah, they eat.
Oh, you're the only strict one on your stuff. Bullshit. I bet you your kids don't eat. No.
Pretty much.
Poor kids,
but
man.
Halloween, man, you do all that work and then you got to take it down after one day. I like Christmas, dude.
One day, it's going to be up for 2 months. I'm doing it next week.
2 months. You can't do that. Let's see, the Homeowners Association.
No. The what?
The Homeowners Association. You don't have you have to pay HOA fees over there. You have to pay.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Homeowners Association. You have to pay HOA fees.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
do you?
One of the nicest subdivisions in Missouri. Yeah, I probably.
You better pay your fees, dude.
I'm paying.
You better find out. You gotta kick your ass out.
Dude, they've been hooking me up at the clubhouse too because Kate and I go there and spend so much fucking money.
Oh my god!
Yeah. And so they start hooking me up. You gotta make me happy.
We just hooking you up with what? Like a Bloody Mary?
Kate and I go up there and I'll order 6 beer, 2 Red Bull vodka double shot things for the road. 2 cheese.
The road you walk there.
No. For the road on the golf cart.
What's your monthly bill? What's your monthly bill?
$4,000, which is not bad.
$4,000
for
a month?
It was 32. We've been going there a lot, and we took care of our friends.
I don't think most people pay because you pay your membership.
Oh, there's some guys up there paying.
I don't think most people's monthly bills are $4,000, dude.
Yeah,
they might be.
Some
are they?
Ask Doug Armstrong. What do you think his is?
I mean, for what? Like a cheeseburger and some Bloody Marys, dude? It's costing you $4,000.
You're doing $4,000 4 days a week.
You're getting overcharged, dude.
4 days a week, and we had 10 people up there the other day that weren't members, and we paid for their shit.
Oh, you did? Night. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's like having a party.
Andy, I'm not cheap, and you take care of your fucking people. And if they want to eat a steak, they get to fucking eat a steak. I'm not going to tell them that they can only eat vegetarian stuff because I'm a vegetarian.
You want to know who else isn't cheap?
Who?
Dan Bellman, baby.
No, fuck no. He'll pay for shit.
He'll pay for shit.
Goddamn right.
And he'll hook you up. But listen, he's like the opposite of cheap. He's going to make sure you save money. Like he's going to take care of you so you save money. If you are cheap, even if you're not cheap, whatever. I mean, nobody wants to spend unnecessary money or be overcharged or not feel like you got like a real, did you get a fair deal or not?
That's my point. Like, if you're spending money, like, take care of me with some things. Go up there, give me a free fucking something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they take care of you
on the radio.
If you have a car sitting in your garage, man, you don't know what to do with it. Like, they will buy it right now. They'll buy your car from you today. But check out Bellman Automotive, man, over there in Troy, Missouri. Both sides of the street. I mean, not just one side, but both sides. You got the Cadillac, the Buick, the GMC Cam's looking at that Buick Enclave, pearl white captain seats.
I don't mind.
And I'm looking at that Escalade. And on the other side of the street, you got the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Yesterday would have been a great night for a Jeep Wrangler, dude. I'm still looking at that. Well, big wheels too, Cam. Very big wheels.
Yeah, for Chloe when she gets into high school, that'd be cool.
Very big wheels.
You don't want to fucking don't get me started on that again.
I'll be on 22s, dude. Okay.
22s on a Jeep Wrangler. What is that? Like, so goofy, dude. I got 22s on my truck. It's not even that big of a deal. Oh yeah. You don't do it on a Wrangler.
You need a new truck.
Mine's paid off, man. It runs like a Cadillac, dude. It's fine. What do we do? Like, fuck. All right.
Hey, man, best customer service anywhere. You get that at Bellman too. BHLMANN.com. Go there today. Tell me you sent you. And get the best customer service anywhere. All right, Daredevil hockey, man. I see more and more kids. I've been at the rink all weekend, Cam. Big showcase here in St. Louis. Big victory yesterday for the boys. Yeah, big victory yesterday for the boys. Let's
Were you coaching?
At the rink. Yeah.
Were you coaching?
Oh, yeah, I was coaching yesterday. Our U16 team, midget minors, man.
Who'd they play?
We played Minnesota yesterday.
How good were they? Good.
They were good. But that's us though. We won the game.
Because they had a more high school.
all these kids play high school, but what they do is they play they have like these select teams. They play these preseason tournaments and stuff like that, and then they stop once they start playing their high school. It's like one of the only states where like all the best players, where the best hockey is the high school league.
Yeah.
It used to be that back in the day, like when I played for Parkway North, that was the best league in town. top 10 in scoring.
It might have been because AAA wasn't that good back then either.
It wasn't.
We were not good. Our 84. Then Paulie Stas in the 85 group, my cousin Derek and fucking Sean Muncie and Lovecchio and those boys. Yeah. Then they started shit kicking. And then then the 86s were better. And then boom, 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 boom.
So anyway, a lot of kids wearing the Daredevil hockey because they're smart, man. Skate lacerations are no joke. I had a kid come out, a coach I was talking to yesterday. His thigh cam just ripped right open from a skate laceration.
Yeah, fuck Carlo. Fuck Carlo and his group with this. I like to get cut in my Achilles. I like to get my wrist cut. It's fun. And everybody's like, what happened to your wrist? Are you okay? I like to bleed out on the ice. Who cares about their vital organs and their Achilles and their wrists and shit? Who cares about that? The skate blades aren't that sharp. Dude. Don't be stupid.
So serious. The number one cause of emergency room visits among youth hockey players is from skate laceration. So make sure, that you are taking care of yourself and protecting yourself the right way. Daredevil Hockey, mention that promo code Cam and Strick, all caps, you're going to save 25%. So again, that promo still exists today. Get that Daredevil Hockey, you're protected. It's got the Kevlar fabric and all the protective areas, all the vulnerable areas to make sure that you escape the game clean and you're feeling good and you're ready for the next game. No kid wants to go out there and play a game and get cut. I can tell you that.
I want to get cut. I want to get cut from the team, and I want to get cut. I want to cut my fucking wrist.
Yeah. All right, listen, local legend, man. New sponsor alert.
Yeah.
Be a local legend. That's their Instagram account, at Be a Local Legend. You can check out their incredible website as well. This is a clothing apparel company, Cam, but it's much more than that. I mean, they got everything. They've got wine glasses. They've got beer glasses.
Ooh.
But the hoodies, the shirts.
I like them hats, Andy. What's up, baby?
I'm wearing one right now,
They're
man.
Pretty cool.
So here's the gist of it. Local legend, ever-evolving brand. They put the spotlight, Cam, on local, right? They try to give back. They pay it forward, want to share the stories of the real local legends, dude. Everybody grew up around a local legend, whether it was the high school football coach, whether it was like Dan Bellman, local legend, whether it's a fireman. I mean, it doesn't have to be
you at Parkway North.
Could have been like, some kid at Parkway North. Could have been like your teacher, whatever, man. This brand.
Your dad.
Could be your dad, dude. It celebrates the local legend in all of us, dude. Everybody is a local legend. And if you're not, you know a local legend, dude. You're close to a local legend. So there's a local legend.
You know any, Andy?
Well, I know a couple. And there's some local legends in beer league games too, man. I mean, I'm gonna let you can be a local legend. Anybody can be a local legend. That guy, even Leo, can be a local legend somewhere.
Oh, Leo ain't no local legend, okay? He's got the green fucking shoelaces on his damn shin pads. Stop it, Leo, and change your fucking skate blades too. They're like a half millimeter thick. That's Leo. And he's slashing guys. He's falling on people. Like no, he ain't no local legend. He is in a bad way. I guess we'll still give him a hat. I don't know. Whatever.
Hey, that Instagram at bealocallegend.com. Give him a little bit of a wave, a fist bump, dude. Tell him welcome to the team here on the Cam and Strick podcast. Yeah. And I got to give a shout out to the lady legends, Cam.
Oh my word! Where are they at?
Everywhere. There's a lot of lady legends out there, too.
Yes. Hey, I'll give you one right now. Jinsey Dunn's one. She's a badass biatch. Damn right.
You should have seen her sister, Joy, just shit-kicking kids.
Oh yeah. They're the coolest. She
plays on our U16 boys team, dude. She's one of the best players in the country, honestly.
They are the coolest.
She's just a horse.
In a very pretty way, a very beautiful stallion. Yes.
She'll be in the Olympics one day too.
Oh yeah, they're sweethearts. They're all very, very sweet and nice. They worked out with us, Andy. They were working out with us at Rick Wilson's gym with me and Bolig and Patty Maroon and all the guys in St. Louis. Yeah. And they'd come in like, "Hey guys," and like sweating like this man, like, and they just like do their thing. They weren't, we were fucking so, all over the damn place, but we were sweet to them. But that's an intimidating thing. And she just kicked ass, did her shit, and she's better than all of us.
I know. But Joy is a hell of a player too. They had another sister who played Division I hockey, and then they have a brother who plays for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah,
he's in the show, dude. Joshua, that's my boy.
Good.
So anyway, local legends are everywhere, dude. Could be your mailman, could be anybody, dude. Steven,
the mailman, I don't know.
No, he's a local legend.
Maybe your mailman. Okay. I don't know what your mailman's doing.
I got a lady legend for my mail woman, man. She's amazing.
Oh yeah.
You know what she told us the other day? She said,
"I want her ass off." What she does.
She said, "I want to say thank you to you." She told my wife this. You and your husband, because you always are so nice to me. You ask me how I'm doing, whatever, blah blah blah. You guys, she's like, you guys are so nice. No one else even looks at me. Nobody says hello.
I hate that so much. Damn it! I wave to everybody, and I have people messaging me on Facebook saying, "Thank you, Cam, for waving when I drive by." And I'm like, "No problem, dude. Of course I'm going to do that. Of course." And when I'm walking the doggies, hello everyone. If my buddies come past me, it doesn't matter with your buddy, but it's people that you don't know. You act, This is what I do. Here's my motto. Oh, yeah. I meet you for the first time. I act like I've known you for 18 years. My dad's good at that. I got it from him. I saw other people know how to do that. And you act like you know somebody, and they look at that, and they look at you like, oh. Because if somebody did that to me, I'm like, wow, okay. If a superstar, I met fucking Conor McGregor or somebody, and he's like, what's up, Karen? And they look, I'm like, oh. And if you do that to other people, man, I'm just telling you, it goes a long way.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. So anyway, welcome, local legend, to the Cam and Strick team, dude. Again, their Instagram at Be a Local Legend. That's their Instagram. Check out their website. And I'm wearing the hat right now, so welcome them to the team. Buy a hat. Use that promo code Strick. By the way, I'm reading it on the script right now. It's Strick. That's what I'm talking about. That's even more reason to go out and get that hoodie or that hat or T-shirt. They've got the rock glasses, pint glasses, wine glasses, and again, lots of stuff for the lady legends too. At Be a Local Legend, use that promo code Strick. You get 10%. It should be 11%. I have to talk to him about this.
You should one up me.
Yeah, you should one up me 11%. I'm going to talk to Ryan.
You're so petty and competitive. It's unbelievable. You did it on purpose. It's so unbelievable.
I swear, I didn't even tell him. And look what he makes the promo code. Hey, he's a smart guy over there.
He's a smart guy. He knows.
All right, how about this? And I'm looking at this for my lake house, dude, or my farm, depending on which one I get first.
Why don't you get both, Andy? Why don't you? They're both easy to deal with. You have 15 soccer practices. You're so out of touch. You are so out of touch. You have 15 soccer. You have 12 fucking hockey practices. You're doing Fox Sports Midwest for the fucking Blues, and you're gonna go have a farmhouse and a lake house or whatever. You're crazy talking, homie. You're crazy.
It's a cottage.
You have to be there every week. Maybe a cottage. Oh God. Now it's a cottage. On a lake with a boat, you're going to have to be there every week. You drop a popsicle down there, you'll have an ant infestation so fucking fast.
Well, listen, it's going to look nice on the outside, though, with my new chairs from My Custom Sports Chair. Dude, check this out. MyCustomSportsChair.com. Check out this website. I mean, they got everything. Pick your favorite league. You can customize your chair with any team you want, Cam, whether it's the NHL. They do every hockey team, home and away jerseys. They can do third jerseys in some cases. If you've got a logo for your if you got a logo for your business, you could have a custom made chair for your business, dude. These Adirondack chairs, officially licensed. They got the NHL, NFL, baseball, whatever you're into, college sports. But again, the business ones are really cool for those business owners out there. But if you're a fan of like the Montreal Canadiens and you want to get like whatever Robinson on the back and like number 19 or something, like whatever Chris you want. Nyland. Chris Nyland, whoever you want. Did you want to get a Flyers one? You don't want to get like Berube on the back, dude. You can like customize it however you want. Dallas Stars, Belfort, Madonna, like, whatever you want. Oh, dude, these are so cool, man. And so I'm surprising Cam. I already told you, you're getting like a New Jersey Devils one.
Yep.
You're gonna have Jansen on the back with a 25, so you can put that in your like satanic cave that you have back there when you're like, you got all the candles going and whatever. I mean, it's very scary.
That was
very scary.
in my kitchen / living room on the one side of the fireplace.
Well,
on the other
very
side.
Scary. It's a very scary situation.
It's scary for you. Everybody else knows goddamn sexy.
Hey, these are the best for like the holiday presents, birthday presents. Like you see NHL players who have like the chairs lined up on their dock from like every team that they played on. I saw that with Steve Ott and some other guys.
In Muskoka, up in Ontario.
So check out how cool these are. And if you look at our Instagram, you can customize. You can even order a Cam and Strick podcast one.
Oh, my word.
And they'll ship that out to you. And guess what? You won't pay for the shipping either when you use the promo code Cam and Strick. I think that's all caps. Cam and Strick, free shipping. That saves you a lot of money because it's coming from Canada. Cam, these are 100% Canadian made, baby. What do you think that means when it's 100% Canadian made?
Because those hardworking shit kickers up there, boy, and they make it right. Fucking Saskatchewan boys up there fucking digging it up. They got 13 feet of snow on both sides. It's all brownish because it's been there for a long time, and they're still fucking taking care of shit. They work their ass off up in Canada. That's why the cats are so cool, and they like to drink their beer and watch hockey, and they're chill.
Yeah. And these are designed to last in any conditions, including Canada conditions, rainy conditions, whatever it is. Over 500 designs for corporate clients. Custom designs are available. Like I said, man, bring your brand to life with my custom sports chair. Our chair, your way. Use that promo code Cam and Strick. All right, let's get to the chief. The one and only Craig Berube, man. Stanley Cup winning head coach, longtime tough guy. One of the most recognizable tough guy names in the history of the game, really, when you think about Chief Craig Berube. What's he all about? Let's find out now on this edition of the Cam and Strick podcast.
Hello.
Big dog.
Chief.
What's up, guys? How are you?
What up, man?
What are you doing over there? Are you in Philadelphia right now? Where are you at?
Yeah, Philly.
How's the weather?
Well, it rained 10 inches last night.
Yeah, that's a hurricane. You see, Jersey had like a tornado last night and things like that.
There was tornadoes by my place too, but none of them hit like too hard, like where I was. Like they weren't far away. There was warnings out, but they didn't get my place. But fucking rain was unreal.
Oh my god, is this rare? Like, do you normally get hurricanes up there in like in the Northeast?
When it comes up through the Gulf, it just makes its way up there and it sits
over.
Yeah,
like not. I mean, there's been some hurricanes. Like I'm about 2 hours from the Jersey Shore, maybe less. So,
okay.
They hit there, and then we just get like the rain and things like that. But that's one of the worst rains. Well, that Sandy was bad.
Yeah.
But this was bad. Like this river here, Delaware River. I'm right by. It's unbelievable right now.
God. I'm not asking you about the power play and the PK. I apologize if that's what you wanted today.
The X's and O's. He wants to break down the
X's and O's.
Whatever you guys want to do is fine with me.
Hey, no, but seriously, though, with the hurricane, because this is serious stuff, like, you talk about 10 inches of rain. Like, I never even heard of that. I heard of 10 inches of snow. Never heard of 10 inches of rain. Like, does it just rain nonstop? Is it windy? Is it just going crazy? Like, tell us what you're experiencing right now in Philly.
Well, it rains hard for hours. That's how you get. That's how it gets built up so much. It just rains constantly hard for hours. It's nonstop. I'd say from like 5 o'clock to it was like 5 to midnight almost. Like nonstop rain. Like I mean, coming down in buckets. The wind wasn't too bad. Like it was okay. The wind. But the rain was just relentless.
I don't think Andy realizes there was a hurricane down in Louisiana called Ida, and it just made its way up to Philly after it went through Louisiana, Andy. It missed St. Louis and went up to Philly and just sat there and just shit on them for fucking 10 hours.
Hey, Chief, this is Cam. This is right down his alley. Like
he's so ignorant.
He thinks he's a weatherman. Well, like he gets into this stuff. Okay.
Went from a hockey player to a meteorologist.
That's where the money's at.
Oh man. So everybody's safe though. Like I mean, and not just you, but like people in the community. Everybody's doing okay, or what?
Oh, it's good. There's just like, water damage, obviously. And then, the river's kind of out of control. There's a lot of flooding and things like that, but, not overly bad.
Chief, you're not playing any golf right now. I'll tell you that. No. How are you handling that? No golf.
Those courses are done today, maybe even tomorrow. Be surprised if they're open tomorrow just because it's so wet out there, and you get people out there playing in carts and all that stuff. It just rips up the golf course.
Those guys work their ass off on the golf course too, man. Oh my God, they're just nonstop. Is that your favorite hobby right now? I mean, are you a hunter? Is golf the main thing?
No, golf, like golf and kids, basically. Just busy with both those things in the summertime. That's what I do. But really, all summer, you're always just dabbing into things with hockey, and you're constantly, I am anyhow, just thinking about hockey too all the time.
You can't turn it off, can you?
He can't.
It's hard. I'll tell you, it's hard. I wish I could a little bit more, but it's more mental than anything. It's more mental than the physical side of actually doing stuff. It's just thinking of things and thinking of new ways to do things. Maybe it's systems, maybe it's on the culture side of things, leadership side of things. For myself, I'm always just reading things or, listening to coaches and people and things like that about different things.
I know. Listen, we had Mark Savard on, and he would say, hey, listen, even when you guys have a day off, you're always thinking about something. Yeah. Are you calling Otter at 2 o'clock in the morning, be like, Otter, I need you to break this down for me now. Yeah. Put the video in.
Get that video going, Otter.
I don't call those guys. I always call them in the mornings. I call my coaches a lot. And obviously Doug Armstrong and I talk a lot all summer too, but it's just, you're talking about different things, and I'll call them up just to talk about, life in general, but it always turns to hockey, and then we'll chat about, well, I was thinking about this. What do you think of that? I heard this guy talking about this. What do you think of that? And you run things by each other, and you come up with new ideas every year, and that's what it's all about. I think we got a bunch of new things that we're introducing to our team this year that are going to be really good.
Okay, so explain that without giving away your secrets.
Because
hockey's hockey, right? How much does it truly change and evolve from year to year, with new concepts, new ideas? I mean, how much can you truly change or tweak the game?
Well, you can change it a lot, to be honest with you, but you don't need to either, though. You gotta make sure you're not changing too much. But I always call it adjustments. I don't change. I don't want my philosophy or our philosophy and how we want to play the game and how we look at the game, the way it should be played. That really doesn't change a whole lot. I think you got to look at your team and what kind of team you have. And okay, so this is a style of play that's going to probably benefit us the best. And the Blues been playing a certain style for a long time. We all know that. And I don't think that really needs to change that much, I don't think it should change. I think there's a style of play that the people have become accustomed to in St. Louis and the organization. And that style should always be there. It's important. But you can make adjustments. And, we got some new players. I think if you look at our skill level, I think it's gone up with guys like Kyrou, Thomas, and we have other young kids coming with Krug. You're adding Bushnevitz now. So I think the skill level has gotten better. So you add certain things to enhance that skill level and help your team. And I think that's some of the things we're going to, do this year.
All right. It's interesting you say that. Because everyone goes back to the year you guys won the cup and be like, oh, the Blues are so heavy. They run everyone through the wall and blah, blah, blah. Now, because the roster does change. Guys retire, guys sign elsewhere. You bring new players into the fold. Can you just maintain the same identity? Whether you want to or not, are you able to do that year in and year out when the roster's changing, Chief?
Well, it's again, it goes back to your philosophy of, your organization and what the organization wants. If you look at Tampa Bay, for instance, the last two Stanley Cup winners, as much talent as they have, and that's a ton, and they played a heavy game. Yeah. If you look at the way you need to play in the playoffs, it has to be, you have to block shots, you got to be physical, you got to hang on to the puck, and you got to play a heavy game. Otherwise, you're probably going to lose. If you look at the Washington Capitals before we won, they played a heavy game. You have to have size, and it's important to have size, and it's important to have grit, especially on your third and fourth lines. And if you don't play heavy, you're probably going to lose.
Did you expect the Stanley Cup Finals to play out the way it did? I know we all probably expected that Tampa was going to win, but even for Montreal to be there, were you surprised that they beat the teams that they did?
You know, a little bit, but they had some real good mojo going, I thought. Their decor has got real good size to it, which is important. Their goaltender obviously played great. Carey Price is capable of doing that. And they got some real timely scoring. You know, a lot of their series were low scoring, you know, and they got some timely goals. You know, they had a couple of kids there, Suzuki and Caulfield, that produced well for them up front. And, you know, so they grinded it out and they ended up, you know, beating Vegas, which, you know, it's probably surprising. Vegas is a very good team, but in the end, it boils down to little things and certain things that happen in the series and that change the course of the series. And, you know, they ended up winning. But I wasn't surprised Tampa was there. I mean, I think they kept their team together and they were determined. And again, they got a good mix of, you know, workers and grinders and guys that really play a hard physical game to some real great talent, and the goaltending's always solid.
Yeah, and they spend $150 million a year. You know, that kind of helps a little bit too. Yeah. No, but they're good, man. They're elite. Now, let me ask you this though, Chief, because like when you guys won the cup, right? You kind of caught lightning in a bottle, man. You just mentioned mojo, like you had your mojo, and like you know when you're feeling it. And then when you don't have it, you're always trying to recapture that and try to find it again. Like, what's that like when you know you have it and you feel it, and nothing's going to stop you guys? Your confidence is through the roof. Everyone's on the same page. And then when you kind of fall off a little bit and you're trying to rediscover that, like, how difficult is it?
It can be hard to get it back at times, for sure. I think that everybody goes through, you know, slumps during the year and things like that, where you're always you're trying to find your game again. And a lot of times you're playing well and you're not winning games. That's part of it too. So, you know, luck has a little bit to do with everything, for sure. But it's just about sticking with your game. And you might not win all the time, but just stick with your game. And it'll eventually come back, and you'll eventually get it back, and you'll eventually start winning again. When you start changing everything because you're not winning, that doesn't bode well. And I've been involved on both sides of that stuff. Like as a player and a coach, you start to change things too much, and that, you know, you stick with what you're doing, and you just got to stay with it, and to keep pushing and staying with it. And hopefully your leaders get you out of it all. That's why it's important to have good leadership.
Oh, absolutely. And there's a couple common denominators for these last teams winning the Stanley Cup. A, you have to have skill. Your goalie's got to be unbelievable. And you got to play physical in the playoffs. Every single team, if you're not playing physical, you're going to get run out of the barn, and we've seen that. So physicality, maybe not in the regular season as much, but damn it, when you get in that playoff series, boy, everybody hits.
Everybody hits, and everybody has to be strong on the puck, and everybody's got to win one-on-one battles. Yep. That's what it boils down to in the playoffs. So that's it.
All right, let's go back to Calahoo. I want to go back to – I need to know what's going on in Calahoo, Alberta, where you grew up. What was life like for you, Chief? Like, if you weren't playing hockey, if you didn't have, you know, a 17-year NHL career, play over 1,000 games and do everything you did, like, what are you doing now in Calahoo?
Well, you know, a lot of the guys that live there where I'm from, there are a lot of pipeliners, and they're still in that business. Oil's big around that area. And these guys have pipelined for a long time, and they're still doing it. So probably something like that I would be doing for sure.
Hardcore, digging, doing your shit every day, 9 to 5. Oh, yeah, man, I get that.
Well, no, they work. I mean, it's a good life they lead, though. Like, I mean, they're you know, it's good work. It's good pay. You know, you're away from home. I guess that's not great, but a lot of times you're at home too. It depends on the job and stuff like that. But, you know, it's like anything else. You come accustomed to what works and what works for you, and you do it.
Are you an outdoorsy guy? Can you ride a horse? If somebody put you in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the woods, would you be able to survive that?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on a farm, so I've been around all that stuff, and I hunted and all that stuff, fished a lot when I was young. I did a lot. I love the outdoors for sure. Yeah, I'm outdoors a lot.
All right, are you naturally tough, or are you tough because of the upbringing you had? Like where you grew up, did that make you tough?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we grew up on a farm. I got my, bunch of cousins around. There was a lot. My dad has a big family, and they're all right there. And you had to handle yourself for sure with everybody, and it was brought up that way, and that it was just a different time.
What's your mom and dad like? What'd they do? And they pretty tough and hard on you growing up?
Not overly hard. Good parents. My dad was a real good athlete. I thought, he played hockey till he was like 81. And now he golfs all the time. He just, the brothers, my one brother, my dad's brother, he built a golf course on our property. It was a 9-hole golf course at the time years ago. And then now all the brothers took up golf and they all play golf together every day. So, I mean, they all played sports. It was a real sports town with ball, hockey. Those are the two main things. And all the uncles and my dad, they're always involved in all of it. They all played all of it.
He played till he was 81? That means you got to coach until your 80s.
God damn.
Chief.
Yeah, I might. I hope so. What else is there to do?
I know.
Keep doing something, right?
Golf.
Yeah, exactly. The Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by CarShield. Nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and right off the bat, you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now back to the interview. Hey, but you think about Canada, like hockey is like, that's what you do. Like if you're Canadian, like you just kind of play hockey. So like even on the reservation, like paint the picture, like youth hockey organizations, all that type of stuff. Like was there opportunity for you at a young age, like some of these other guys who are from bigger cities or different communities to excel in hockey? Like how'd you do that?
Well, I think, again, my family, first of all, and my dad and the brothers, they all not pushed hockey on us, but they introduced us to it. We had an outdoor rink, so we were skating on that and playing, and then they built our arena. So we were lucky that way because the community we live in is very small, 80 people, and it was probably less at that time. But, the community was great, built a rink. So we had hockey there all the time. And I remember when I was young, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, we'd be at that rink till midnight just playing shinny on the ice, like nobody out there, just a group of guys. You got your skates on, stick, gloves, nothing else, and go play shinny for 2 hours, So we were always at the rink playing hockey, doing things. And and then, I got a call to go to Williams Lake, British Columbia, to try out for a junior A team. Me and two buddies went. We made the team, and then that's just. Then I played major junior the next year.
Listen, we had Teddy Nolan on, and I want to get into your junior career and all that, but we had him on, and he grew up in a traditional First Nation community, like what you would maybe envision. They had the powwows and all that type of stuff that was going on. Was that the same for you? Did you grow up with all the First Nation customs and traditions within your family and community?
No, none of that, because our town is not a reserve anymore. But I played a lot of hockey for a couple of reserves that were nearby my place, and I was very close to all those guys. I played ball and hockey for those guys all the time in tournaments and things like that. But I never lived actually on a reserve. Spent a lot of time there, but I've seen all those things, all them traditions and all that, and been around them, but I never practiced them or experienced them personally.
So when you start playing major junior in that tough ass league, I mean, good God, I mean, I can only imagine some of the guys that you had to deal with. Like, when did the fighting start to come? Were you? I know you're always probably pretty aggressive, but you're hanging out with, you're playing against a bunch of big boys now. Like, how'd you build that confidence up?
Well, because my coach, when I went to Williams Lake, British Columbia, my coach, his name was John Van Horlick. He really took me under his wing. Like, we boxed every day. We did all these things, and he taught me how to take upon that role and do it. Like, he really did. Like, he did it as a player himself, so he knew exactly what to do and how to do it. And he really brought me along that way and paved the way for me. And going into major junior, I knew it had to be part of my game, if not my whole game. Like, everybody scores in junior. I scored in junior too. And, you put up some points and you think you're a decent player. But when you get to the pro level, you find out pretty quickly that you're not, and you better do something else if you want to play in the league. And that's exactly what I had to do. When I went to the minors, I realized, and, from my coaches too, I realized I had to change the way I thought about things and what was going to keep me in the league, what was going to get me to the NHL. And that was obviously playing a tough guy role and being a good checker and a good teammate. And so I took that role on, and got to have some luck too. And, I played a long time.
Did you score in junior, Cam?
I scored a couple goals in junior. No, I did. Everybody does, just like Chief
I
said.
played my centerman my first 2 years in major junior was Cliff Ronning, so I put up like 70.
Oh my God!
See, that's what it is, Andy.
Chief, I looked at that today. Like, you played with him for 2 years. Like, your first couple years of junior, man, he played here in St. Louis. He was unbelievable. How good was he back in the day?
Well, in junior, he was maybe the best offensive player in the league that I see. I mean, he's putting up 200 points. I mean, the goalies obviously weren't as good as they are now, the game itself wasn't as checking and tight checking, but he was real dynamic in junior, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's a little water bug out there, man. And okay, so who was the first guy? You're playing juniors, you're looking across in warm-ups, and you see the big guy over there, whoever that may be, and you're like, damn, like, you know how that you have that sunken stomach feeling, and you know you have to go this guy. Who was that guy? And did anybody welcome you into that league where you just remember?
Well, I think John Kordick was the guy, because I played at New Westminster Bruins my first 2 years of major junior. He was at Portland, and they were in the same division. And he was probably the guy. Like, we fought 2 or 3 times right away.
Lefty.
And kind of like that established myself, I guess. He was already in the league. And, then you go from there, and there's different guys like, Rudy Postchek was on Kamloops. Ken Baumgartner was on Prince Albert. Dave Manson was on Prince Albert. Wendell Clark and Joey Kocher and guys like that were in Saskatoon. Like, you just, every team's got somebody, right?
Yeah, they do.
And you said you're working on boxing. Like, were you ahead of your time with that? Like, were other guys, like, training with the boxing element? Like, because a lot of these other guys, they all played a long time, too. You talk about Manson and Koser and some of these guys. Right. Man, Ken Baumgartner, and these guys all played. Yeah,
I think it was just something that, the coach introduced everybody on the team to, and we did it part of our training. And one of our trainer, our strength coach type guy there, he was a boxer. So, I took, I'd be I'd go to the gym with him personally and just, be in the ring doing things. I actually really enjoyed boxing. I actually fought in some amateur fights that year. Like, so, I took it on, and then I pursued it after that. So when I turned pro, I worked out in a gym in Edmonton called the Panther Gym, and Daryl Duke was the owner of the place, and he was a professional kickboxer. And so him and I trained together for years, and unfortunately he passed away of cancer a few years ago. But, him and I really got close, and we trained all the time together, doing all types of boxing and running and all that. Like, really, that stuff, paved the way for me because I was in great shape all the time, and I learned how to really work hard. And I had to work hard to last as long as I did, because that's all I had. You know, I didn't have enough talent, but I had the work ethic, and that was driven into me from, you know, some coaches I had and strength coaches.
Chief, you should fight Jake Paul and make $100 million now, man. You see all those boxing matches going down? Do you watch UFC or any of that stuff?
I do, yeah. Like Otter's big into it, so whenever he knows all the guys real well, he'll say, "Oh, there's a great fight," and I'll go over to his house and watch it, because I enjoy watching it.
Yeah,
those guys are crazy.
They're unbelievable athletes, is what they are.
How do you handle having a player who's soft, Chief?
Ooh, yeah.
Who isn't like, it just doesn't have it. Like, it's like toughness. Like, can you acquire toughness? Can you become tough? Can you train to be tough? Or do you just something like you either have it or you don't?
Soul.
Well, I think you either have it or you don't, but you can still push it on players and they become harder players. You know, not everybody has, you know, everything, right? So I think there's players, like, you want them to be harder on a puck, or they need to battle harder. So I think it's about, you know, teaching them. You know, you can't just tell them to do it. You actually got to teach them at times, and you got to, you know, it's video and technique and things like that. And, you know, a lot of guys they'll take upon it, they'll get better at it, and that's all you want.
Hey, what about Hitch? Like, you played for Hitch. What was he like back in junior? Yeah. Like, did you think he was like a really good coach? Like, I mean, you give me your honest opinion of Hitch. And do you still, like, you take anything from him that you learned from him back in the day? And, like, did you think he'd go on to have the career that he had? Like, this guy coached for a long time, Chief.
Yeah, no, he overcame a lot. Like, you know, Hitch, you know, he overcame a lot. So that, you know, that's all on him to become an NHL head coach and last as long as he did. Like, that took a lot, and, you know, he did it. And hats off to him. He, like, in junior, I think it's hard for me to look back that far back, and, you know, from a technical side of things and all that, it's a long ways back. I probably didn't look at it like that. Mm-hmm. But what Hitch did was he pushed you hard as a coach in junior, and he really. He made guys accountable and pushed guys hard as a junior coach. And then pro, you know, obviously it's more technical and there's different things that are elements, but he always was a smart guy. The game, like, he was really intellectual, even though he didn't play the game. He knew the game very well. And he could present it to his team very well. He didn't complicate things. He's a very simple coach. And what he demands is very simple within the system. Does that make sense to you guys? He doesn't complicate things. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty straightforward game, and he's always stuck with that. And he's not really changed his philosophy. He makes adjustments like every coach does, but he's always kept that philosophy of how he thinks the game should be played, and this is the way we're going to play it. And because of that, and I think Quenneville's the same way. They last they coach a long time, and they win a lot of games.
Yeah, they do. Let me go back real quick. We've had Chaser on. We've had a bunch of guys on. And
Kosher,
Chaser, and they're all related, by the way, according to Chaser.
Everyone out there is related.
Like, to Chaser's,
well,
like, Chief.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very bizarre. But the point is,
we had Wendell Clark on, too.
Clarky, too. We got everybody. But they always say, you know, everybody talks about Bob Probert and how bad he was and how tough he was and this, that, and the other. But Chaser and a couple other cats say that Davy Brown in the late 80s, early 90s was the baddest boy in the block. What do you say about that?
Well, I played with Brownie. He was bad as it gets. I think Brownie, the one thing Brownie for me had, you know, over a lot of guys was, like, I seen that guy maybe not do as well in a fight that he wanted to. So when that next shift out of the box or wherever it was, you better be ready because he's coming after you again. So that's just something a lot of guys don't have. You know, he was a determined guy, and obviously he had great size and he was a lefty. But he had that determination that bothered him that much that he was going to come after you again and try to beat you up.
Who was a guy?
He was as tough as like I've seen, like Brownie and I were teammates, which I was very fortunate to play with that guy, because when you have him across the room from you, I mean, makes your balls bigger for sure. But so I was lucky to have guys like him.
Hey, that's how Cam feels. Cam's balls get bigger
every time I'm with Andy. My balls are huge right now. I'm protected, Chief. But who was underrated, man? Like I'm going to give you a name, Paul Laws. Like no one really talks about him. Captain, like how tough was he?
Really tough. I fought him a bunch because I was in Wash there in our division, and he was as tough as I fought for sure. I mean, I fought a lot of guys, and he was right up there for me. I mean, really tough guy, strong, heavy hands. I mean, he was tough. He was up there for sure.
Hey,
very underrated. Another guy who was very tough and underrated was Darren Langdon, and we were New York Rangers.
Great guy.
Not overly big.
Nope.
But just go forever, and he was tough.
All right, let me give you a name of an underrated fighter who you played with for a long time, and I got to know because I was working in the UHL back in the day, and he was the head coach of our team for a year or two. But Killer Kamensky, man, this guy, like he was like my size, like he wasn't even
He wasn't that small, Andy. Good God!
And I'm like, what? Like you watch some of the highlight videos of this guy. Like, first off, great guy again, but how did he get the name Killer? Do you even know that?
I don't. He had that name when he came to us, but he was my center. He was like this guy could hit people as good as Zach Ronaldo. I thought Zach Ronaldo was one of the best hitters I've ever coached.
Yep.
And I never played with him, but I coached him.
Mm-hmm.
But Killer was close. This guy leveled people. And again, not very big, like your host there, Cam, but they're scrappy and they're tough. Like there's been a bunch of guys that are undersized guys, but they fight everybody because they got guts and they're just tough and they're determined. And he was one of those guys too. Like Ty Domi, Rob Ray wasn't overly big. Obviously Cam. I mean, there's a bunch of guys that were you can go back even to the old days too. There's a lot of guys that were undersized guys, but were feared because that when you drop the gloves with them, you're in a scrap, and you're going to have to give everything you got. And he was one of those guys, Killer. He just was all out. I love the guy.
Yeah.
Great.
A lot of guys are
he's coaching.
A lot of guys are psychos. I mean, really. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, they're just crazy and they're fearless, and that makes them nuts. Time to talk a little bit about Daredevil hockey, the ultimate in performance plus protection. Daredevil is a lightweight compression-based layer designed with Kevlar cut-resistant fabric overlays that protects all the vulnerable areas of the upper and lower body from skate lacerations. Get yours now. www.daredevilhockey.com. Use that promo code Cam and Strick. You'll save 25%. Now back to the interview.
Let's go.
The line. Maybe I was a little too hard. Because listen, I coach kids too, and the parents get involved, agents get involved, all that. Like at the NHL level, man, they call their agents or whatever. Is there a line for you? Like, will you toe the line? Like, how hard will you be on your guys?
Well, I mean, it depends on the situation. I've been hard on a lot of guys. Do I think I crossed the line? I don't. I don't think I crossed the line at all. But I've never had a player come up to me later on and have an issue with what I did. I mean, yeah, we work things out the next day. Like there's times that I've called players, you call them in the room or in a private room during a game and whatever, you go at it a little bit and you move on. And they all know that. It's just, you want to win. They want to win. Things get heated up. You want them to play better. Yeah, I look at things the next day sometimes and you go, well, maybe I might have been a little bit hard on him. He played better than I thought, but I never crossed the line. It's common sense. Like, yeah, you want to be hard on your players, but in the end, I think, I'm fortunate enough to have a group of guys that care and want to play and want to win, and they give mostly everything they got all the time. So, but Yeah, that's probably the best way I can put that.
Andy, he just has to stare in their eyes into their soul when they listen. So every coach has different pet peeves and they're all over the place. Like, what's your pet peeve as a player when you're practicing, when you're coaching? Like, what pisses you off more than anything?
Probably just soft plays, like in general. I want guys to just make hard plays all the time, make real good decisions that in the right areas of the ice. Just turnovers and soft plays bother me probably more than anything.
Like, what's a soft play to you? Like, what do you like on the wall where they just like, well, I'm not going to take the hit.
On the wall, just the decision at the blue line, like making the right decision at the blue line, not turning it over there, things like that, I think more than anything. But, it bothers you, but it's a fast game and there's not a lot of room and time out there. Anybody that doesn't know, they come on the bench and watch, like it's tough. And, but in the end, I got to hold guys accountable and responsible, and I'm responsible for it. So I'm going to hold them accountable. And, you want them plays to be good plays.
Hey, listen, what about Mike Keenan? Because I remember having a conversation with you, and then there was other people there inside the Blues room one time. You probably don't remember, but somebody brought up Keenan, and they thought for sure you were going to say that I fucking hate this guy and whatever. But you really like Keenan. Like, what was it about Keenan that you liked about him? If that's the case,
I think that he gave me an opportunity to play. Him and Paul Holmgren, in my opinion, as coaches, gave me an opportunity to play and gave me a chance. So that's important, especially for a guy like me. You need somebody to give you an opportunity and a chance, and I took advantage of it. But Mike was fine for me. Mike was pretty direct and forward, and if you played hard and you did the right things, he liked you. Yeah, there was times where he got on me. He did, whatever it was, but I really could handle it. I was used to it. I think, obviously, with my upbringing and with the coaches I had in junior, so I could deal with that stuff. It didn't really bother me that much. But I think Mike, he was really hard on some guys, probably over the top, but he wasn't like that way with me.
98 playing Washington. That's your best style, by the way. When you're in Washington, you had your jersey tucked, you got the mullet going, you take the teeth out. You had the best. By the way, you had the coolest stance ever when it comes to fighting. Just square off stance. Like, you just had your cool. Just a cool. Everybody has a style, man. Yeah. Styles make fighters. But that's when you were doing your thing. And I remember my dad loved watching you. But tell me about that team. I play with Yogs. You play. I know him. He's all over the place. Like, what was your take on him, Dale Hunter, and the rest of some of those guys on that Washington Capitals team?
That was a great team that year. I think we added Tikkanen and Brian Bellows at the deadline, which really helped us get to the finals. I know they were both older players and probably a little bit over the hill, but they still had good pedigree. Like, Tikkanen was a winner. He could check and do things like that. Great personality in the locker room, and Bellows could score some goals still, And I thought they both helped a lot. Dale Hunter was, he's one of my best friends still. Probably, one of the best teammates I've ever had and friends. And I hated that guy so much when I played against him when I was in Philly. I don't know if we talked the first year I got there. Like, he just drove me up a wall. We had battles like going at it with each other when we played against each other. But we became best friends and hung out together all the time. Really, I learned a lot about the game with this guy. We watched hockey day in and day out at night, watching other teams play. And that's when I kind of knew I was probably going to coach when I was done because of that.
Wow.
But I was really lucky to play with him and be around him. Kolzig and net, great guy, real good friend. And, we had a real good group of guys, Mark Tenorti on that team. And we had Oates. Oatesy was a great player. And,
Damn, you had a good team.
Great two-way player. Underrated defensively. Great face-off guy. And obviously his passing was incredible. A vision and things like that. Pretty good decor we had. I think that's what really made us a good team. We played pretty good defense from having Jim Schoenfeld coach us for years. Really pounded the defensive side of things into our brains. And Kolzig was a good goalie. And then Ron Wilson took over and kind of freed us up a little bit offensively. And added a different perspective to the game. And, we went to the finals that year. I mean, but again, it was kind of like Montreal this year. Things all went right for you and you get to the finals, but we were outclassed by Detroit.
Oh, God, that 98.
Dale Hunter, man. Listen, he came to, I think it was Game 6, right? When you guys beat San Jose. I know you had so much going on. Like, when we got done with our post-game show, I remember talking to Dale Hunter inside the lounge, man. It was unbelievable. And this guy is so smart. He's recruited so many kids out of St. Louis who have gone to London and played for him. Like, he's had an unbelievable coaching career. But I got to ask you about Chris Simon. Cam's going to get mad that I brought this up, but I didn't want to have this interview without us bringing him up.
Yeah.
Like, what was he all about? Like,
heat down the pipe.
Tell me about Chris Simon.
Yeah, he was size tough as real tough, obviously, and big guy, huge guy, big, great hands. He scored 29 to 1 year. I think he was on line with Oates most of the year, but he had ability. I really enjoyed playing with him. I think getting him there, really, I thought helped me because I had another guy who was a younger guy that. Kind of my role too. So it was nice to have a combination of us there. But he was a good player, so he could score goals and had real good hands and could make some plays. Me, him, and Dale were on a line that year in the playoffs. It was a pretty good line. I was like, Dale would come back to the bench. He goes, "Man, I got a lot of room out there."
Oh shit!
Dale was a good player. Like, going back to the Quebec days and stuff in his early days in Wash, this guy put up 80 points a year. He was a great passer, great power play guy, and great passer. And we were aligned, so it was a lot of fun. I mean, I love Cy. He did some mean things though. He was a mean guy, but he was a mean guy with his stick and some things that he did probably were a little bit over the top. I would go to him like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He goes, "I don't care." He gets suspended every year for 15 games.
I know, man. Especially later on in his career.
We're trying to get him
later on in his career,
We're gonna get. You had Ali Frady there too, man, who came on with us, man. You guys had a bunch of characters inside that room.
What a cool team that is, man.
I mean,
Big Al, I roomed with Big Al, and we'd get to the room on the road, and he would just lay down in his bed and light up a cigarette. He'd take the filters off all of them and smoke them in the room. I mean, I never seen anybody smoke that much during periods, everywhere, like just constantly, and go out and fly around 100 miles an hour like it was nothing. And great guy, fun guy to be around. And, he was awesome.
I know. He'd do his sticks naked too. Apparently, he told us all about that.
He liked to walk around with no clothes on everywhere.
Hey, as your roommate, I'm sure you appreciated that. Hey, listen, Adam Oates though, and we've had Oatesy on, and obviously known Oates, for a long time, whatever, from his days, and obviously a blues legend and all that, but. He rubs some people the wrong way, like coaches and GMs and whatever, with some of his skill stuff that he does. Like, does that bother you that he'll come into town, even though he hasn't come into St. Louis in a while, and he'll work with some of your players? Like, are you okay with that? Like, what's your stance on, what he does with, his clients around the league?
Well, that's a personal thing, like, what he does and what the player wants to take from him. But in the end, as long as the player is playing the system, the individual skill stuff that Oatsy does with players and people, I'm okay with that. You have to do it within the system. That's it. Play the system. And it's all about offense. And because he's an offensive guy and was a great offensive player. But even in an offensive, system, there's a system for us anyhow. Not every team, I don't think, but for us, we have an offensive system. And as long as the players are going to, do it within the system, I'm okay with it.
Let me run back to 2000. And we have a ton of Devils fans that listen to this podcast. So you score a game winner. You guys are up, I believe, 3-1 against the fucking Devils. And then Scotty starts taking over. We had Scotty on. We had the Big E on. We talked about this whole thing. But, what changed in that? That was such a crazy series. Hits out the wazoo. It was still a crazy time in the NHL. Describe that series.
Yeah, it was like, Big E was hurt, so he didn't start. He wasn't playing in the playoffs. And then we got up 3-1 in that series. And, basically, like, the Devils were the Devils. They were a team that you really were unflappable with Marty Brodeur and Scott Stevens, Niedermayer, Danico, those type of guys. They never panicked or anything. And, they eventually just took it over. Like, I know the hit on Lindros, and everybody says, oh, well, that changed everything. Well, I don't believe that. Like, I think it started before that, and there was a lot of controversy with Big E coming back and everything. But in the end, like, this guy's a great player. Like, how can you not want him back, right? He's a great player. So I just think we let it slip away. And as much as we let it slip away, they just stayed with what they do, and they didn't panic, and they have a great goaltender and Marty Brodeur, and they ended up taking it over and win. It was tough because I think we were right there to win a cup.
Yeah.
But you gotta finish it off, and we just didn't do that.
I know, man. I mean, the margin of error is just it's so small. I mean, it's not
every game, like, it was 1-goal games. Like, they're all tight, it's close games, and that's what they like. That's what they're used to, and they know how to win that way.
How was Lindros as a teammate? Like, he was such a big dog around the league, obviously, like MVP. He kind of had drama in junior, drama, obviously, when he got drafted. But what was he like in the room, like, amongst the guys? Everybody like him? I'm sure you guys all respected him as a player, but how was he as a person?
He was fine. I mean, he was a fun guy. Like, I think, to be honest with you, when I got there, him and Johnny Leclerc are the two hardest working guys I've seen in practice. Like, these guys were extremely hard workers in practice, and went out there every day with a purpose in practice, I thought, and did a real good job that way. And Big E was fun. He was always joking around, having fun. Like, I mean, I didn't, there's always things that happen with players and drama and things like that, but in the end, I mean, it happens to a lot of guys. Maybe a little bit more with him over a lot of issues and things like that. But I don't care to really get into all that. I mean, personally, from a personal level, I sat beside him in the room, and, I enjoyed him.
Cam and Strick podcast here for our boy Dan Bellman with Bellman.com.
Yeah, baby.
You need some new wheels? Why not get a Cadillac, a Buick, a GMC? Yeah. Head out to Troy today. And again, don't forget about Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram right across the street.
No doubt.
Right there in Troy, Missouri. Visit them online. Check out their new selection, the pre-owned selection, the best service you will find anywhere in the country. Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the summer.
Yeah.
Now back to the interview. All right, what'd you think of the Stevens type hits? Like, and obviously those are out of the game and whatever, but just the way the game was played from a physical standpoint then versus like what we're seeing now, just being on the ice for some of those hits and just the collisions that we saw night in and night out, Chief.
Well, you had to keep your head up back then, and if it wasn't up, a guy like Scott Stevens, you were going to get hit hard, and that was part of the game. I think the hits were great hits, to be honest with you. I don't think they're dirty hits. I think guys have their heads down and they don't know where they're going or what they're looking at, and they get rocked. Today, you're allowed to have your head down because you really can't do that. So that takes that away from that, I think back then, got to have your head up.
Yeah, no doubt. And you still got to have – there's still some big hits, and you can still get hurt. The game's fast as shit. But
yeah, definitely. The game's so fast now. I tell you, the game is so much more physical now than it ever has been. And I'm not talking the big hits. I'm just talking there's contact all the time, everywhere, because everybody's there quickly. You don't have time. Back then, the big hits, there was more of those. But the contact shift in, shift out is way more now than it's ever been.
So explain to people, you could have and Bob Probert, I mean, he was a good hitter. He played in the All-Star game, like all that stuff, but he was scary tough. But for you, like explain to people how scary a big defenseman, when you have your head down coming up the wall, that's really going to knock you out. Because in a fight, you have control. But once you have your head down coming across that blue line back in the day, like they'll hit you and they're going to hurt you, whether they could beat you up in a fight or not. Like, explain to people how scary some of these defensemen were coming down with your head down.
Oh, definitely they were. I mean, there were some big D back then that really knew how to come across and hit you. Konstantinov in Detroit blocked me in the neutral zone. I was out. I crawled to the bench, and I was like, whoa. I mean, my head was in, I don't know where it was. I mean, because they just step up on you. You know, Chelios always stepped up on people. There's a number of guys like that really were, you know, Mark Tenorti, if you remember him, guys.
Oh,
he
hell yeah.
at the blue line and in neutral zone, stepping up on people. There was a lot of that going on. It's changed. But it's scary. Like, you get hit like that, I mean, it rattles your brain. I mean, you don't see it coming. Your head's down a little bit, or a guy steps up on you, bang.
All right, see ya. Listen, we talked to DJ Smith about this when we had him on, like head coach of Ottawa, and because the game has changed. You just mentioned the brain and all that. Like, when a player has a concussion, like, because it's so different now versus how you play. Like, how do you handle that? Are you just one of these coaches who just says, hey, listen, when you're ready to play, you just let me know, and I got to move on until you tell me you're ready? Like, how serious do you take these head injuries?
Very serious. It's up to the player. And, I don't think it's up to anybody else to make that decision. It's strictly up to the player. It always should be. When he feels ready to play, then he'll play. You don't know how they're feeling. And they got to make sure it's their career and their life too. Like, they got to think about in the future. So it's on those guys to make the decision when they're ready to play, and they come and tell me I'm ready to roll, then they're ready to play.
You've battled so for so many years, so many games, so many fights. Like, how's your head? Did you ever go through a weird span where you're spinning in the room, putting the fucking lights, turn the lights off, shutting the goddamn shades, and just sit there and be miserable? Like, has that happened to you?
No, not at all. So I'm lucky that way. I really didn't have a problem with concussions and things like that. Never have. I mean, I was lucky that way. Everything's fine.
All right, listen, you brought up Dale Hunter. Like, maybe that's how you got the itch for coaching. But, like, who really gave you an opportunity? And because you had to, like, fight the reputation, no pun intended. But, like, you're a tough guy, whatever. And I'm sure some people thought, like, how much does he truly know the game? Can he coach skilled players? Can he coach offense, the schematic part of the game, concepts, all that stuff? Do you feel like you had to really prove yourself maybe a little more than others would have to, just based off of the way you played the game?
I never thought like that, but, when I was done playing, Paul Holmgren called me up immediately. Like, I'm pretty tight with Bob Clark and Paul Holmgren. And they gave me an opportunity. George McPhee gave me an opportunity if I wanted in Washington to coach. So I was close with these guys, and they all gave me a chance. And, so when I got into coaching, John Stevens was my first head coach that I worked with, and really taught me a lot. He's a smart guy, real good coach, and really taught me a lot about the game. And then, Hitch was around there coaching the Flyers. I was with the Phantoms, so he was around, and always doors always open. And just you be around people like that, and you learn stuff and learn different things from the coaching side of things. But in the end, I always just coached my own style. Like, I learned stuff from those guys and other coaches, but I would just coach my own way and my own style. I think that's important.
All right. So Otter's told me, like, that you will study other coaches, their tendencies, whatever, in all sports. Like who are some of the coaches that you've gotten to know, you become friends with, or people that you truly, really respect and watch and study? Some of that stuff I'm talking about.
Maybe not hockey related.
Yeah,
either.
Some of that stuff I'm talking about with tendencies, just how they handle themselves.
Well, I think everybody watches Bill Belichick for sure, and it's different football, but you learn things from what he does, from the leadership side of things and the team side of things. I think the Patriots all about team and leadership, so there's always things there. I think Nick Saban's right in there with them. I think Nick Saban learned from Belichick back in the Cleveland days and follows a lot of the same things that Belichick does. So I love listening to those guys on their leadership stuff and team stuff. I listen to a lot of their, they have a lot of things out there, leadership, where they go and talk to a company or things like that. Yeah. So I think they're great guys to listen to. I used to call Popovich once in a while back in the day and talk to him a lot. He's got a great mind with just how he handles players, and it's important that players know that, you care about them. You care about their life and what's going on outside of the game, their families. Players want to just talk a lot of times and bullshit, not really about hockey, just in general, just talk and bullshit. And I think that's where I learned from Popovich. He is really good at that. He really, reaches out to players. And I took a lot from that because I think it's important. I think players, they love to just talk, not so much about the sport, but just about life in general. And they know you care about them. We're all in this together, and we all care and want to win. So I think it's important that your players know that.
All right, listen, we've had other coaches on, and some of them tell stories or whatever. Like, do you ever snap? Like, will you punch a hole in the wall, Chief? Will you throw a table? Is the gum everywhere? Is Gatorade everywhere in the room? Like, is that your style, or does that not happen?
Not very often. I have done it a couple times, but I would say twice in 3 years, where maybe I get so mad about something or just the game or in general, maybe, things that are going on, but not very often. I think you do that too much. And that's not, I never plan it. It just happens. I don't really plan a whole lot of speeches, and I don't plan how I'm going to react a lot of times. It just happens. I think that's the best way.
Yeah. Like Andy, he doesn't need to punch a hole in the wall to intimidate anybody. Like he just stands there. Okay. Hey, let me explain. I love your post.
I used to love Paul Holmgren when he'd come in as a GM or the coach back in the day. He'd grab a stick, and I knew we were in trouble.
Oh, one of those wooden sticks that was going to break your arm right off.
Shit. Man. We were in a room one time, and he'd come in. He was coaching us in Philly, and Terry Karkner was sitting beside me, and we're sitting there between periods, and Homer brought in a stick. And I'm like, uh-oh. And he was swinging it around, and the blade was half off, flying around, and Karkner reached down and put his helmet on.
Probably pissed him right off. Hey, let me ask you something, though. Like, I love your post-game. Your post-game. Like, even if you win, you lose. Like, you're always the same. Like, you always... You don't say a lot, but what you say is just meaningful. Like, what's your take on the media and the questions? Because sometimes I feel that steam coming out of your ears, and I just want to know, like, what pisses you off in post-game interviews?
I don't know, like, if I get that really pissed off, to be honest with you. It is what it is. Like, you win, you lose. I mean, there's certain things I think that as a coach, you got to give them some information. I don't think you need to give them a whole lot, but you gotta give some information out. And I just don't like to really talk too much about the win or the loss. I mean, I think keeping an even keel is so important in a sport. Win, lose. You might have won. Maybe you didn't play that good. You lose. Maybe you played really well and you lost. It's always important to keep your head at an even keel, in my opinion. And I like our players to do the same thing. Yeah. And you don't need to give out a whole lot of information to anybody. Keep it in house. We're the team, but you got to give out some stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
But how hard is it, to pick yourself up and because you got to have a cooling off period too. Yeah, Chief, especially if you're not in the best mood. You don't have really a choice. I mean, it's like you're a head coach in the NHL. You got to talk to media. Like, is it difficult to do sometimes?
I think it is at times because things aren't going well. You're maybe on a losing streak, or and it builds up over time a little bit. But again, it's part of the job, and you got to be able to deal with it.
I could always tell by his pit stains, Andy. I'm like yours, like mine every day. Oh, I love it, man. No, you do a great job with that. You do, and we see Andy and I evaluate everybody and the coaches, and we have to, we're on the radio every damn day, so we see different coaches do different things, and you give out as much as you need, but people that know what you're saying. You know what I mean? It's very cryptic, but it's we get it.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey, listen, how do you I don't really want to get into like much about like the Tarasenko situation, but I will ask you this: like, do you just let that play out with the general manager and the player? Like, how do you handle it with the player so it's not like a distraction and it doesn't interfere with what you're trying to accomplish with your players, Chief?
Things that happen, and it happens in a lot of sports. And again, it's part of the job. You deal with it, and you keep it in house as much as you can. And I think, I expect Vladdy to play for us, and I'm going to treat him like every other player. And yeah, he asked to be traded, and things happen. But again, we want Vladdy to play good hockey for us. Like, I want Shen to play good hockey, O'Reilly to play good hockey. He's going to have a role on the team like he always has. We'll deal with it internally, and we'll go from there. That's what it boils down to. It really does. You only can control so many things, and there's things you can't control sometimes. So you just focus on what you can control, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, that's the advantage of playing over 1,000 games too. Like, you've seen it all as a player right. too. It is what it is. It is a business too. Hey, before we let you go, you got married this off season.
Oh snap!
You got a big golf thing coming up and all that. So, like, how good is life for you right now, Chief? I mean, you're coaching in the NHL. You won a Stanley Cup. Now you're getting married, or you got married and whatever. You got a family. You got a lot of stuff, a lot of positive things happening right now.
Doing
Chief.
good.
Yeah, I've always had a good life, to be honest with you guys. I mean. Yeah, everything's good. Been with Dominique. We've been together for 7 years. We got married, and she's a great lady and has her own life and her own business and everything. And I was very lucky to meet her, and obviously became living together, and now we're married. And she's a great lady, has 2 great kids, and again, like the hockey part of it, I'm coaching in the NHL. I love the organization, the Blues. Fortunately, we won a cup together, and that's awesome. And we want to try to win another one. That's the goal. Things are good. But I don't know. I've been lucky in life. Things have always been pretty good. And I enjoy life as much as I can. I got, like everybody else, it's never that bad.
No, it's not. All right, listen, you talked to Mike Yeo during the Cup run. Now, you replaced Mike Yeo. He was the coach. You were his assistant. You end up replacing him in November, and then you guys go on your amazing run. But did you reach out to him during the playoff run? Like, what was the reasoning for that? Like, what was the purpose of the call, and how much feedback did he give you that maybe was helpful that you used throughout the Cup run?
Well, we love Mike. We're good friends, and obviously, I was worked under him and stuff, and it was unfortunate that, team didn't get off to the start that needed, and that's the game, and he knows that. Mike's a great guy, reached out, and, just good luck, congratulations, things like that. And we really didn't talk hockey a ton, to be honest with you. And I don't blame him. And I would never do that. We just talked as friends,
Do you ever look back, or can you not do this? And I'm sure other people maybe think of this, but at the time of the pause, you guys were playing great hockey. You were first in the West, and that opportunity, I'll say, I think was taken away from you guys. It wasn't the same in the bubble for whatever reason. It just didn't happen for you guys when you guys got to the bubble. But how much do you think of what could have been if there was no pause and you guys was continued to feel it entering the playoffs, man, and with an opportunity to truly repeat?
A couple things. Yeah, we were playing great hockey at the time, and I thought we had a real good team. Mm-hmm. Again, I thought things really were coming together at that time. But hey, stuff happens. Nobody had an advantage. We went into the bubble. We didn't perform at a high enough level to win. I don't look back on it. I hate doing that. It's over with. Different time, different team, moving forward. I'm constantly just looking at the present and the future, and that's really what I do. I don't focus on the past because I can't do anything about it now. We had a chance. We didn't perform good enough. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And last thing for you,
Great
coaching young guys versus veterans. Do you coach everyone the same? Do you coach everyone differently? Like, how do you approach different players or each player on the roster?
Yeah. Well, you expect the same from everybody to a certain extent. Not everybody has the capability of doing what other players can do. Everybody's a little bit different with their skill, how they play the game, but on the other side of things, you want to be a good team. Everybody's expected to play defense. Everybody's expected to block a shot. Everybody's expected to, do certain things. Okay. You can't coach everybody the same way because, players are all different. So you have to coach players differently. Everybody reacts differently to certain things. So it's important to know what makes your players work and tick and how to get to them, to get them to perform better, to coach them. But everybody has to be, everybody's got to play the same without the puck, I guess, is more than anything. But with the puck, there's a lot of players that are different. So you have to coach them a little differently.
All right, I got to mention two players in this interview, like two of your best friends. I saw Scott Mellanby yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
You were in his wedding. You were also in Rick Tockett's wedding. I talked to Talk a couple of times, trying to get him to come on, whatever. Like, how much do you hurt for some of these guys when you see them get fired? I know it's part of the job and whatever. You've been through it before. You can't just bring all your friends on your coaching staff and whatever, even though you probably would want to. But tell me about the bond and tell people about the history and the relationship you have with those two guys specifically.
Well, when you break in the NHL and I became best friends with Scott Mellanby and Rick Tocchet, that's going to last for a lifetime. Like, those guys took care of me, in my opinion. Scotty and I were roommates on the road. Tocchet and I lived together at home. So I was tight with both of them, and I still am. Talked to Rick Tocchet a lot about coaching, probably more than any coach in the league. Communicate all the time with him about things. He really, and vice versa. Yeah, it's too bad it didn't work out in Arizona. He'll get another opportunity. He's a real good coach. He's got a real smart hockey mind. And, Scotty, same as on the GM side of things, assistant GM in Montreal for a number of years. He'll get a GM job. He'll do a great job when it happens. I wish him all the best, both of them.
Yeah, no question.
We love those guys.
Keith Jones, too, man. Remember him coming down after the Cup run, too, man. It's going to mention all your boys, Chief. Make sure we're getting everybody in,
Jonesy's one of the best. Got a great friend and was a great teammate. I played with him on two teams, Wash and Philly. And he's one of the funniest guys I've ever been around. One day we'll have to get back on. We'll just do Keith Jones stories.
He looks the same, by the way. He doesn't age.
I know.
He looks younger now.
No, stress-free.
Great hair, everything.
Yeah,
Jesus
I know,
Christ.
I know. Hey, well, good stuff, man. And
Chief, you're the best.
Chief, I appreciate it, and we love the fact that you came on. People are going to enjoy this,
of course,
and look forward to seeing you when you get back here to St. Louis in another year of hockey, man. It's
Can't
going
wait
to be
to
fun.
see you, man.
Yep, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on, and I'll see you soon. Okay.
See you, big boy.
You got it. Take care.
All right, that was Craig Berube, the Chief. He's
bad
the
boy,
man,
motherfucker.
dude.
He's in a bad boy club, man. Upper echelon of the shit kickers of all shit kickingness. He's on that pedestal.
Okay, so if he's your coach as a player, he gets your attention, right? I mean, all the guys know his background and whatever. Does that give you more credibility or what?
Of course it does. Of course it does. Okay, let me give you an example. Remember Reaver? And I love Hitch, and we've had Hitch on. He was fucking hilarious with us, and he chirped us a little bit, and blah, 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 whatever. But remember when Reaver and him would go at it on the bench, and Reaver would be like, "Fuck you! What the fuck are you gonna do? Fuck you." Yeah, remember that? And it was very uncomfortable when we watched it. And I love Reaver, man, and he was in this groove. And I don't know if I ever did that shit, but he was, he did his thing, and then they do it, and Hitch would be like, okay, and maybe Hitch is a little bit different. But do you think anybody does that to Chief? and looks at him and goes back and forth.
I don't know.
Steiner maybe at times Steiner maybe could have done it and told him to fuck off one time. But like you get the degrading aspect of what Reaver did to Hitch. Do you think anybody's doing that? And that's not the end all be all, but I just think that I don't know. Man.
I just think some players do. I mean, veteran guys, if they're pissed off, whatever. I don't care who you are behind the bench. When you're like a player, you come back to the bench and you're getting yelled at. Sometimes
degrading stuff.
I know the adrenaline is going. Like you're in absolute beast mode.
No doubt.
Like you may like strike back, dude. But I think 100%. That's where it comes. It gets back to him playing over 1,000 games in the league, dude. He gets that. And he's not taking anything personal. No one's taking it personal. Hitch didn't take it personal back then, too, even though a lot of guys would do it. Now, there are some players, especially the young guys, I mean, they're going to think twice. No one's talking shit to Chief behind the bench, you know?
Okay, I get what you're saying. Happening. So the other guys, like, he'd come in and he's like, what the fuck? I tried to get the fucking thing out. Like, I tried to. That's different. Exactly. But the degrading... Just look at the clip of what Reaver is doing. I don't know. I don't like that.
I don't like that.
And either. I like Reaver. Like Reaver's fucking cool, man. He's classy, dude. And you talk to him like he looks in your eye. He talks to you like a normal person. And he puts on a persona on the ice, and he does. It's what you do. But the degrading, I don't know. I don't know if too many guys did that. Pete DeBoer. I know him and Kobe went at it. But like I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you got to respect you should respect your coach, man, for sure. But anyway, I mean, Chief, his story, just in terms of how he, how he made it. Like this guy's like he's legitimately tough. He won like a tough guy competition back when he was like 16. We didn't even get into it because I know he's told that story like countless times. But
he's the baddest. I'm telling you, there's an upper echelon of the really, really bad boys. Twister, Domi, Berube, they're in that group. Proby. Yep. You can keep going. There's some bad boys.
Now, you know what else, though? No matter what team he played on, I mean, even to this day, like all the best players, dude, are some of his closest friends, dude.
Oh, yeah. By the way, he talked about Dale Hunter, and we asked him questions about Dale because he's such a unique guy, man. And I remember watching him growing up, and my dad loved watching him play. It's like, Can we get him on? Like we gotta get Dale. We gotta get Dale. Should I text him?
Well, we've had a bunch. Yeah, you might have to. We had a bunch of his friends on, but like he's a guy, and it's funny because I mean, even like when Basil came on with us and whatnot, he just doesn't talk to the media that much. He's an unbelievable person, though. I mentioned it to Chief in the interview. He was in town for that clinching game against San Jose, where the Blues won the conference final. And then, obviously earned a berth into the Stanley Cup final. And he was cool as shit, man. Just kind of bullshitting with him after the game, whatever. He was hanging out in the lounge. Great guy, man. Hockey lifer. He's recruited a bunch of kids out of St. Louis, too. So you're right, man. We do got to get him on. We'll get him on eventually. We have Pierre Turgeon on. He talked about it, too. He actually has forgiveness for him. He's not even mad at Dale. Pierre, the nicest guy of all time.
It's not all negative. Like there's a crazy. He worked his ass off, and he did. Dude, he's so damn successful. I want to pick his smart brain, his big fucking brain, and be like, "How'd you do that? How'd you get the?" He's done so much shit. Now we're gonna talk about his crazy shit too. Who cares? But I don't know. He's just he's just an enigma.
But people just think that like a lot of these tough guys who played the game specifically that way, like their brains or their attitude towards the game can't evolve. And like so that's ridiculous. Where Craig Berube's like, you guys are just like, just because I made a living fighting for like 20 years in the show doesn't mean that I like love fighting or I wish the game was played like that today. No, like he loves the way the game is played today.
Of course, man. And again, I have to say it again, like the shit that he had to do to evolve as a player because he wasn't that skilled. It's unbelievable, like how you have to do everything right to be in the lineup every goddamn night, to be that consistent and stay in the league for that long and not be 100 miles an hour. We could just get away from floating here and there because I got to toe drag a guy and I'm going to put one bar down. He's not doing that. So he had to do everything fucking right. Every system that he had to do, he was perfect at it. Like then he had to be physical and be a warrior. Fuck that, dude. How do writers evolve? Were they born with it and they're what? Did they go through the training where every awesome coach you've ever had is like breaking down video every fucking day when you're a kid? Like, this is what you do. This is hockey. This is how you play. This is what you do. Were you doing that then when you're at that age? Like, if people didn't play, like, how'd you guys evolve? How'd you? Like you're stuck in your brain every fucking day when you're playing. Every goddamn day, practice, video, this. Like that's what you're doing. It's like fucking. It's like so. You know the game, whether you had your role or not. You just know it. You're forced to know it. How did everybody else evolve?
Well, plus he's coached for a long time too.
It's another thing. I mean, it's okay. It's another thing.
He didn't like retire and like walk into becoming a head coach in the NHL, man. I mean, he had to
right into it.
Yeah, he had to grind it out in the minors too. All right, so Craig Berube, man, thanks for joining us on this edition of the Cam and Strick podcast. Right, as always, we enjoy it. Check out camandstrick.com. You can listen to us anywhere you get your podcast. Again, give us that review. We're going to be selecting a winner coming up on September 12th. You got to give us a review. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you give your reviews, give them everywhere, man. Give that 5-star. And give that review. It could be negative too if you don't like us. I mean, I guess be honest. I mean, whatever. Sure,
but either one of us.
Give us a review. You probably won't win the contest. I mean,
I'm not going to give you that cool prize that we have set away for you, which is actually pretty cool.
It is cool. So Cam and I are going to pick a winner. We're going to have our own personal Zoom, whatever, and just like hang out and drink some cocktails, whatever, and just be able to hang out. That's like a cameo. Oh, my cameos are open too, by the way. I got 5 stars, Cam, on my cameo. They had a review of my cameo, and they gave me 5 stars.
You did a good job on that. You did a good job.
Oh, you like that?
You didn't make them cry like I made my last cameo cry, but that's all good.
What was the topic? Quickly.
Well, an adoption and...
that's emotional.
Well, I do emotional fucking cameos, okay? I do emotional cameos.
Yes.
You talk about your dog shitting in the background. Mine's like, and then they cry and they watch it with their family through Christmas. Like, oh
my gosh.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Okay.
And I'll give a pop-up speech.
Okay. Well, hit me up on Cameo. Anybody needs anything you need. It's on sale right now, by the way.
Please.
camandstrick.com. Check out the website. And listen to past episodes, too. Yep. And, again, support all our sponsors, including CarShield, 800-857-2481. Mention that promo code CAM, and you'll save 10%. Again, pick your mechanic. Have it sent anywhere. They hook you up with a rental car. You structure your plan long-term, short-term. Something goes out in your car, your brakes, computer, starter, alternator, whatever it is, man. It's going to cost you thousands of dollars unless you're protected with CarShield. So do that today with carshield.com. Again, Bellman.com, Bellman Automotive out of Troy, Missouri. Our boy Dan Bellman. That's our boy. And we'll give a shout out to Dale, too. They got the Cadillac, the Buick, the GMC Cam on one side of the street, and the other side, they've got the Cadillac, the Buick, the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. So they got something for everybody. Everybody in the family, just pick a car, man. Everything you want, anybody, your needs, whatever you need a car for, they have it taken care of for you over there at Bellman Automotive in Troy, Missouri. So check that out and get out there today. And, of course, our friends over at Daredevil Hockey, use that promo code Cam and Strick. And our new sponsors, man, Be a Legend, our local legend. That Instagram account is at Be a Local Legend. Be a Local Legend. And this is for all the legends, the lady legends, everybody, all the legends. Mention the promo code Strick, and you're going to save 10%. So check that out. Local Legend Clothing Company. I'm wearing my Local Legend hat right now. And, of course, my custom sports chairs. They've got over 500 to choose from. Every sport. If you're a Habs fan, a Maple Leafs fan, a Rangers fan, Blackhawks, Blues, whatever it is, these are unbelievable Adirondack chairs, 100% Canadian made, baby. These are designed to last in any weather conditions. So use that promo code Cam and Strick, all caps. You're going to get free shipping. All right, we appreciate everybody for their help on this edition of the Cam and Strick podcast. Our boy Michael Dane, the great Dane, who put together our website, doing a great job there. Black River Digital, all the work that they're doing. And, of course, Brody Campbell, our one and only engineer, making things work behind the scenes here on the Cam and Strick podcast. We hope everybody enjoyed the Chief. Until next time, thanks for listening to the Cam and Strick podcast.